Let me see. Do I want to do like a little intro song this time? Do I want to do an intro? Technically, we already live, but it don't matter. I guess a nice little intro song be cool. Let me find some of freaky shit real quick. On the SoundCloud, so y'all can go check that out. SoundCloud.com. I'm gonna give y'all his information too, so y'all can check my boy music out.
Yeah, he be spitting hot fire.
Let me see where my boy is. Let's see what they pop up. Let's see where Brody at. Where he at? Okay, I can't see him. Fuck it, I'll go back. Play something that ain't copyrighted. Okay. YouTube, I apologize. I normally have stuff like this more organized, but I pressed the button too soon. But it don't matter because y'all gonna tune in and y'all gonna listen to it anyway.
Yeah, we apologize, but you know the show gonna start soon. We gonna have stuff to talk about, and we gonna put y'all up on game.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, fuck it. I'll play one of my old joints.
Yeah, chill gang. Hey yo, hey, smoking till I hit. Yeah, whoa, yeah. Hey, smoking till I turn into a Martian. Getting paid and buying fire dope, that's my department. Get the munchies feeling pretty like I'm Cartman. I am not a space, you can catch me on the far end. Don't get it twisted, they just barking while we fighting. I'ma fuck around and get so high they call me Kite Man. Go like a junkie, but I mean that in a good way. Every day I'm blazing up, so every day's a good day. Go, smoke till I say whoa. No, I keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, other mayo. Hey, other mayo. Like another blow. Smoke till I say whoa. No, I keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, other mayo. Hey, other mayo. Rolling up this cannabis, I'm stoned, what type of plan is this? Rolling swishes back to back, I'm stuck just like a mannequin. Don't think I can handle this LP got me panicking. In the booth, I'm flashing shit. This right here's another hit, and I'ma bring fame to it. I'ma bring my name to it. Put it in the grinder, roll it up, and spark a flame to it. This is real music, don't know what them lanes doing. Spit it back up on the track, that's what they ain't doing. I pop a bean. For some lean, chillin' with the gang, living out our dreams. Another blow, smoke till I say whoa. No, I keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, other mayo. Hey, other mayo. keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, LMAO. Hey, LMAO. Puffin' on this poet, chronic chiefin' everywhere we go. Piffin' purple perfect, got me nervous, screaming, whoa, whoa. Slow your fucking roll, bro. Flowin' me no ho, ho. Got the type of hands that leave you laid out on the floor. Checking out your hoe, dope. I hit on the low, no. You the type that lose a fight, your mommy called a po. I'm super duper chatter, super stats, don't be my bro, yo. I ain't even spittin', let me get back on the yo, smoking on the dope. My bit broke out for the low. Pack another bowl and we gon' smoke it till it's no. Pack another bowl, smoke till I say whoa. No, I keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, LMAO. Hey, LMAO. Pack another bowl, smoke till I say whoa. No, I keep that LP on me everywhere I go. Hey, LMAO. Hey, LMAO.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, and foreign government hidden creatures that may tune into this. Welcome to the next episode of the podcast.
Yes, welcome.
Got your boy Fresh in the building. Big Brody in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's been a while since we did the last episode, but just been chilling, man. I guess you could say went on vacation. I was chilling with Big Brody and whatnot, but now we back in our isolated locations, and yeah, we about to drop another pod on y'all.
Yep, sure we.
But this one, see, this video clip I want to show you guys right here, though. It's TikTok, but I actually seen this at Bro Crib, and this is kind of like this thing we've been talking about. We did speak on this on like one of the first podcast episodes, but just a creature that Brody has seen, and it's sort of similar to what you will see in this clip. So I guess I'll just go ahead and play the clip, and then me and Brody can add our comments and whatnot to it later. Let me play this thing.
Hello?
Dang, got little baby ones.
I ain't see all that before.
Oh, that's a spaceship.
I thought it was a falling star.
What is that?
It looked like something breaking up into the atmosphere, but it started off as one, and then just oh wait, hold on now, they done paused. Hold on. Oh yeah, that got to be like a spaceship because the way that it came down
And it's just
and just stopped like that is that's physically impossible if it was a meteor or something.
right. It's really just hovering and floating.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're expanding. It look like, whoa, yeah, nah.
Yeah, they getting into formation. It looked like from
That's
yeah.
different.
Yeah, but this creature right here, now, the one thing I can say, the thing that I saw was very similar to this. But only thing about it that's different, it didn't have a tail, and I don't know. I want to say that it was somewhat skinnier, But it looked like it's about the same build, but I wouldn't say it was that big. Maybe like slightly tiny, like slightly smaller. But yeah, it kind of looked just like that. I don't know about like the weird shaped head, but I know for a fact it didn't have a tail or anything like that. So
Home and the Natty Dog, salute to you. Salute, Gerald. Appreciate you tuning in.
but yeah, it kind of looked like that though. I don't know. The shape of the head might be different. It didn't have a tail, but it was almost similar to that, and it walked exactly the same. Maybe a little bit faster, you know. But yeah,
No,
I
that's
mean, I don't know if this is real or if it's CGI, but whoever made this or if it's real, that look almost exactly what I saw back in 2021 when I seen that shadow dude walking and stuff like that, and the thing that looked just like that followed it right behind him. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was some words exchanged, but then that thing came right back out and went behind the dumpster. And I was like, oh no. And I went in the house.
I do not blame you, bro.
That shit fucked me up. But like I said before, when I look back at the situation now, I mean, as far as like the black thing go, I mean, I'm not gonna front. Like I said, when I look back at it, it's more. It seemed like it was more of like seeing a unicorn now, because realistically, it had some beauty in it because it was like it's just an all black smoked figure just gracefully just walking like he ain't got a care in the world. Like I don't know, like people, anything else was pretty much beneath it or something. You know what I'm saying? It was like watching I guess a malevolent god or something like that just stroll, and you just witness his power, and because his power is so great, you quiver in fear.
Yeah, not understandable though. Good talk.
hmm But yeah, whatever little lap dog it had, it looked exactly like that. It just didn't have a tail.
I
Like
wish I
realistic.
could find one. I wish I could find one sort of like the black creature you said you saw, but I don't even know what to search for. But
Honestly, your best bet would to search up, type in Gon GON transformation.
on Google or TikTok.
Google.
Let's see. Type in gone what?
Transformation. All right, now click over there to images. All right, scroll on down.
Oh, let me type GON. I'll put the E.
Okay, now it's gonna be the last picture on the first row.
Okay. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come on, baby.
Now, I would say that it was in the shape of this, because it was in the shape of a man. But instead of it, when you see where it's got all the white parts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
just picture all of that is just black. And and you see the shit just coming off of his body, it was just like that, but it was moving. It looked like it was like a smoke or a vape or some shit coming off of his body, and it was black. And when I seen that, I was stuck. It couldn't move, couldn't do nothing. And it literally turned its head in my direction, looked directly at me, and literally turned its head back and faded into the woods.
Yeah, that would have definitely creeped me out, man. Wow. Huh.
While simultaneously having what we just seen follow behind it and go right behind it and then come right back out and run behind the dumpster.
Yeah, I probably would have shitted myself.
I'm telling you, bro, I wasn't no more good. I ain't gonna front. I think I temporarily lost my mind because I couldn't believe what I was seeing and what I just witnessed. And then, like I said before, I wasn't the only person that seen it because it was a whole nother person that seen it before me, and he fell on the concrete going into his crib. That's what caught my attention to look over there because I'm looking like, well, dang, what's wrong with this nigga? Like, then turn around and see that. I was like, whoa. And I was just stuck in fear. I couldn't even move. Like, you know how like when you see something like real, like creepy or something like that, or something you ain't supposed to see or something like that, a tear fall out your eye.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I felt. And I could not move until it had faded into the woods. And once it moved, I went in the crib. And, like I said, the wifey was coming home. She was like, let's go to Burger King. She told me she was outside. I couldn't, like, my hand was literally trying to grip the doorknob to open it, but my hand was just stuck in place because it was like, bro, I'm scared to go outside. If I go outside, what if it pop up again? Or, the only thing that really made me come to my senses was the fact that, she was out there by herself in the car. So it was like, nah, if I don't go, something might happen to her. And then out of nowhere, it just felt like somebody pushed me and I just went outside. I got in the car, started crying and stuff like that, rambling because she couldn't make sense of nothing I was saying because I was such in shock. So, she calmed me down, went and got food. And, right when I think I'm about to come to my senses, she tell me, maybe it was just your imagination. And then, right when I'm about to agree with her, maybe I'm saying I'm tripping, is the moment that we both hear that blood cuddling scream, like it was a monster outside or some shit like that. After that, boy, I was just, I lost it. I ran to the door, shut the door, locked it. Her cousin, I think she was upstairs. I don't even know if she heard it, but when I slammed the door, nah, she wasn't there yet. But when I shut the door and everything else, I just got on the floor and just literally just, sat down, grabbed my knees and was rocking back and forth, bro. Like I'm not even gonna cap. That's how messed up I was from, because it was like, wow, it's some stuff out there that can really hurt me right now. And I'm just a helpless person. I can't do nothing. So, like
Nah, I don't blame you.
And shit, for like 3 days, I ain't really sleep like that because it was just like, like how can you sleep after witnessing and hearing something like that? You feel
Right.
me?
How can your mind process that? Right.
Exactly. So, it's like now it's like, what is there to do? But I'm glad I witnessed it because it put me on to a lot of things to prepare myself and everything else. And, that's why I want to have certain things or take certain precautions. Like when I told you I want that big cane Corso that looked like that was like 100 something pounds or whatever that I shared in the chat or
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's why I want that. because it's like, okay, I got this big thing right here that can help me or protect me, or at least at least help me. You feel me? And then, I was telling the boys earlier that I wanted a 44 Magnum, and they was like, "What you want that for? You can't be in no shootout with that." And I told them straight up, like, oh, this ain't for human beings. And they was like, "Man, what you trying to do? Take down the king of hell or something?" Shit, realistically, yeah. Oh, shit, I'm trying to, anything bust this door down if they want to. Hey, I'm trying to take whatever it is out to make it feel something. Ain't no way. But stuff like that will really kind of change your life though. But for the better though, because the sooner you accept things like that is the sooner you can prepare for it and protect yourself. You feel me?
Most definitely. Everything can't be dealt with your regular stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can use a Glock or something like that. Yeah, you might hit his chest, but it ain't that don't mean it's gonna pierce. I mean, you got you a 44 Magnum. I mean, that gun alone could make a watermelon explode. You feel me? So if it hit anything,
that body go flying. You hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you use it on any other thing other than that. Hey, it's bound to do some damage.
It's gonna lift you up, and you're gonna fly back.
Mm-hmm. That's why hey, it's better to be safe than sorry. Because I feel like if you was ever in an altercation with something like like what I just saw or what we just seen just then. I mean, I don't think no normal handheld gun is gonna do nothing unless it is a 44 Magnum or above. You feel me?
True. But yeah, true. That gun there made it take down a bear. So you said, with that joint 7-8 feet tall, hey, one shot with that, it's gonna leave a nice hole in it.
A little nice hole. It's gonna do something. I mean, sometimes you got to do the math. Cause I mean, if you use a 9mm or whatever else people be using on a bear, I mean, yeah, you pretty much hitting the bear with pretty much like a BB gun when you really think about it. Cause that bear gonna still be able to have that energy to come to you and do some damage. But
hey, my bad. Yeah, Gerald, I agree with you though. 12 gauge too.
Shotgun too.
12 gauge.
Yeah. You got you a shotgun, you pretty much good, get you a little something that's gonna have some power behind it. Like, going up against something like that, like nah. Ain't no way. Cause it's gonna Shrek them bullets off. Simple as that.
For the audience of people that's gonna listen to it later on, the area we talking about is like Craven County / Cataract County area.
Mm-hmm. Well, technically it's really the Appalachian region, which is what is it? North Carolina, Virginia, all of them states that's up there, basically. Anything that fits in, or you can Google it, any state that fits into the Appalachian region is pretty much people that will probably encounter some crazy thing that they logically cannot explain and everything else. So, like I said, to the people that's listening, you might experience some things. Well, you might have experienced some things in your life, and you just probably just ignored it or didn't pay it no mind. But 9 times out of 10, you probably encountered something that probably could have took your life, and you didn't even know it.
Yo.
One thing about it is 2 things for sure. Your human body and nature will always protect you.
True.
One telltale sign is, or two telltale signs of your human body is when your hairs stand up on you. If your hair stand up on your arms or your neck or something like that, just know you in the presence of something and you in danger. And if you outside and if you ain't got no hair and you outside in nature, if everything get quiet out there and you don't hear no insects, no birds, no squirrels, you don't hear nothing. You need to go get the safety because something is out there too.
True. Yeah, you outside in nature, especially at nighttime, like you said, and everything goes
Mm-hmm.
solid. No bugs. No. Well, I know out here we have bats. You might think it's a bird or something chirping, but it's probably a bat at nighttime. You don't hear any
Mm-hmm.
bats and bugs. Yeah, something's definitely around you, a predator.
Mm-hmm. A big predator.
And sometimes you'll even get a gut feeling.
Yeah, you'll get a gut feeling. Your gut, hey, they tell you always go with your gut. Best believe you need to go with your gut. And I mean, you do have some people out here. I ain't gonna say some. I'm gonna say the majority because some things is just too hard to face.
Right.
A lot of people don't believe in stuff like that.
Right.
But when you look back, even in the Bible and stuff like that, God always spoke about his angels. He always spoke about his creatures that he created. He always spoke about, so you have a concept of good, all these things that fall on the line of good and all the things that are created in good.
Right.
But what a lot of things people don't really want to face the reality of is that good cannot exist
Without
without the
you.
concept of evil
Right.
or bad. And you have to think about all the things that are bad on that side of the spectrum. And given that you have, even in history books of people speaking of werewolves or dog men or creatures of the night and stuff like that and everything else. I mean, not all these people wasn't saying this stuff for no reason, because all of this was people either had seen something and the word got spreaded around, or and everything else. So
No, you're correct. I mean, it goes even to an extent of, I know a lot of people grew up and they watched Aladdin, and Aladdin
mm-hmm,
kind of fooled us into thinking something as simple as a genie or a Dao Jin, was this entity that's in a lamp and a lantern. You rub the little bottle or whatever it's in and come out and grant you three wishes. But I mean, jinns do exist, and they will grant you some wishes. But what they don't tell you is these are creatures of darkness.
mm-hmm. And that's the thing that people. Another thing that people don't really pay attention to. Media knows these things exist, and at some period of time, they do have to, by legal law, they literally have to tell you in some way, shape, or form that this thing here exists, and it has to be shown as some type of media of some kind. That can be movies, television shows, what else? Music sometimes
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and sometimes entertainment like video games and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like prime example, um, I think I don't know if anybody may remember this or not, but I want to say what 2016 or 2017. Did you ever pay attention to the fact that it was a spike in zombie movies and zombie shows coming out?
yes, sir.
Yeah, matter of fact, like when Walking Dead first came out, they had Walking Dead, Left 4 Dead, Zombie World, all that other type stuff. That was literally the media telling you that zombies do exist. And if you go do, the proper research, like I tell everybody else sometimes, don't never, listen to a news outlet, because a news outlet is going to sugarcoat it or not tell you nothing at all.
Right, you right. Just
If
like the guy they said that was off bath salt, that was a zombie. Yeah.
Well, nah, the dude off bath salts, that's a whole completely different thing. But I'm gonna get in that in a second. But apparently, it was an entire town that was connected. Well, they had a laboratory in their town, and something happened in that town to the point to where the whole entire town that had the laboratory was abandoned, and the houses was boarded up. And apparently, from what people were saying, were whistleblowers, they were saying that that town got exposed to a virus that gave the people zombie-like appearances and zombie-like states, to the point to where they had to basically quarantine the town off and everything else.
Mm.
But as far as like the dude that was eating somebody's face off, apparently he was a part of a religious group, a real not when I well yeah we might well say it was a cult, but apparently he had ended up reading texts that he wasn't supposed to read, and by doing so, he ended up being possessed by something. Apparently, that's why when they shot him as many times as they did, even in the head, he was still moving and still attacking the man. And it took them to double tap him to actually put him down, because his sister, I want to say, they did an interview with her or something like that, with his girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah.
And the girlfriend was saying he was acting strange from days prior. And she said one night he called her, he contacted her, and he was saying something. He was, speaking gibberish, and she was like, he was speaking in tongues or something like that. And then she also said that, what else did she say? She said that he had a book or something like that, and he started ripping pages out of the book or something like that, and then he disappeared for a couple of days or something like that, and then that's when she found out he was dead or whatever from the shooting and stuff. But then the cosmetology report, what was it? Yeah, the autopsy report.
Autopsy, yeah.
Yeah, the autopsy report. I said cosmetology, Lord Jesus. But but they did a report on his body and stuff like that, and they found out he didn't have any bath salts in his system. It was just weed, and we all know weed not gonna make you act like that.
Not at all. Yeah,
that was just the media trying to try to point at bath salts as the leading cause to a new addiction or something like that, when that wasn't the case.
Okay, so it was actually a real case of spiritual possession.
Yeah,
and they just tried to cover it by making up the whole bath salt story.
Yeah, and and another thing people got to realize too, when they feel like, oh, demon possession isn't real, that ain't real, you gotta think about this though. People claim that they have been touched by the Holy Spirit and all this other type stuff, and they start doing crazy stuff. The one thing you got to realize, if the Holy Spirit can possess you and everything else that that some religious people might believe, what makes you think the other side can't do it?
You're right.
I mean, that's the one thing you got to realize. But another thing too, that a lot of people might not like, that I'm going to tell you right now, is that anything that is, pretty much divine, it's not going to possess you. It physically can't, because it's the vibration frequency of that divine thing is too great to possess a human body without completely destroying it. Simple as that.
Mm.
Now, a low vibrational being, yeah, it's easy for them to do that, because it's nothing to put a human being into a low enough vibrational frequency for that person, for that entity to match up and be able to possess you. That's why depression exists. That's why sadness, exists. That's why all those negative feelings and emotions exist. Is to bring you to a lower vibration, a lower feeling, and everything else. So something like that can possess you and everything else.
No, makes complete logical sense. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring this up because I had a long stint in church as a youth, and I do recall times where the pastor, whoever, would pray over somebody, and you would see people talking in tongues or having different convulsions and falling on the ground, you know what I'm saying? Almost like they were having seizures or whatnot, and just laying on the ground for amounts of time, you know what I'm saying? Especially as a child, that was kind of like traumatizing, but it just never seemed right to me. And I guess as
Mm-hmm.
you saying now, like something divine would not make a person act like that.
Exactly. Because like I said, the vibration is already too great. So why would something that's so great like that be able to possess the human flesh that isn't even, trained or anything else like that, be allowed to possess you and not destroy you, destroy your every fiber of your being? Like, it doesn't make sense.
And for sure as shit, I can recall probably a lot of those people that ended up on the floor, like the next week, would be right back on the floor.
Mm-hmm. The one thing that people also have to realize, at the end of the day, Christianity is literally a cult. I mean, I hate for the disrespect. If it feels like I'm disrespecting some Christian or whatever the case may be is, but you have to come to the realization that Christianity is literally a cult. Nowhere in the original Hebrew text were Christians, Christianity, the word God, the word Jesus, and the word church ever came up. Never. Those were all things made by the Romans when they tried to conquer, all the nations and have them under one religion that they put in the Bible. When they took those original texts, they took certain things out and put other things in there so they could, rule over all nations with one, religion. So realistically, Christianity is not of God of whatsoever. And you have to come to realize that not only are y'all speaking and saying the wrong thing and everything else, but you're also praising and worshiping something that isn't, the man upstairs. You know what I mean? God never made the name God. God never made the name Jesus and everything else. It's not in the original text that these people use to make the Bible. So realistically, you're worshiping somebody else that isn't who you think you're worshiping. And the crazy, yeah, like, and one thing people have to understand, Lucifer Morningstar is literally translated. His name is literally in the original texts and everything else, and it translated over perfectly fine. All names that were translated perfectly fine, but Jesus' name was not in the original text. They didn't even use the original image of that man. They used King James' cousin, who was also his lover, as the original look for Jesus.
Right.
which was not true. So realistically, you are worshiping a man that wasn't Jesus. Just like the Statue of Liberty, regardless of how people may feel and everything else underneath the rainbow. When you look at the Statue of Liberty, it is literally a giant life-size sculpture of Lucifer Morningstar that was depicted and painted. Only thing they did was change the outfit and possibly change the gender and put something different in the hand. But other than that, if you look up a picture of Lucifer Morningstar, depiction of the devil, you will literally see that it is the exact same image as the Statue of Liberty, just with one or two alterations. And that's
Well,
it.
I know this from watching Berserk, and you watched it too. The character Griffith, can be compared to Lucifer Morningstar, but
Mm-hmm.
they often described him as individual that was so beautiful that you couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman.
Mm-hmm. And realistically, that's where Griffith really does get his looks from. That's kind of like who he's based off of,
Yeah.
because he wanted his own kingdom so much that he literally sacrificed his comrades and friends to obtain it. And I mean, when you compare, what's said in the Bible, well, what's said in the Hebrew text, and what's said, what's shown in Berserk, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Because shit, Griffith sacrificed his friends in order to become a new apostle, and technically, Lucifer basically got a third
Sacrifice a
of the
third of God's army.
yeah, in order to basically become king of his own empire. When you really think about it, so this, you know, it's very very similar in a way. That's kind of crazy when you really think about it.
Bro, I really had no idea about that whole Statue of Liberty thing. So you actually put me on to some new knowledge.
Hmm. Like if you like, because they were saying they've been, but the crazy thing is you have people that actually know, people that's actually in the industry, people that actually built these things that literally just send little whispers out there and send, messages through other people so the message can be spread. And then the moment that it starts to get, attention, you'll have people that'll come along and be like, "Oh, that's a lie. That's not true. People are lying and everything else and stuff like that." But I mean, it's not though. No, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's too many. You can't really sit there and keep saying something is a coincidence when it's constantly, still always happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the cross, for instance. They swear, yeah, this is the cross, this is this is that, and this is this. But if you look in the Hebrew text, it's the cross, the thing that symbolizes God and everything else is the Ankh.
Right.
It looks nothing like what we use to represent God. And my thing is, when you really think about it, they say that they, killed Jesus on the cross and everything else. Why are we using the representation of a man's tombstone basically as a representation of him? That seems very disrespectful to me. I wouldn't like, know what I mean? No, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would feel very disrespected if people were to walk around and use the very thing that I was killed on to represent me, because that just seems disrespectful.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, like that's crazy. Like you see people like, come on now, that's like someone shooting me or whatever and murdering me, and you walk around with the bullets that entered my body and took my life as a momentum to remind you of my death. Like to me, that sounds like a celebration than it is for you of mourning or you to, represent me or care about me. If anything, that sounds like you glorifying that I died. Like, yeah, he gone for good. Did it? Like, know what I mean, like that just seems real weird. Like, I could see now if it was like, you used my birth sign or something like, like that. I mean, but you're using something that people hung me on and stabbed me with and took me from this world. Like, nah, that just seems that to me that's just wrong.
Yeah, shoot. They did a whole lot more than just that to him. They in
Hmm.
a sense, this still goes back to Berserk, but in a sense, kind of the way Griffith was tortured, Jesus received that in a day's time.
Yep, that is true. Because I mean, technically, but you know what's crazy though? Now that you say that, so that would mean if Griffith is basically Satan, right?
Right.
And he got tortured and all that other type shit and everything else, wouldn't that necessarily mean that the person that we seen get tortured would have been Lucifer?
Well, see, they kind of they kind of did it like this to where to some it may seem like a monster or a demon, but to others it may seem like a god.
Yeah. Cause now I'm sitting here thinking, cause now I'm like, well, what if instead of what we saw or what we know, it's the other way around? Like, know what I mean? Like, what if it was Lucifer that was walking, getting stoned, and everything else like that by man, and then crucified on whatever the junk is or whatever and shit like that. And he was the one that resurrected and left and all the other type shit. Because realistically, and the reason why I say that is because why is the representation of Lucifer or anything else like that is an upside down cross? When Jesus, from what the original text say, his representation is the Ankh, which is upside, which is facing up or whatever the case may be. Is.
Right. Theory.
Yeah, because like I said, like I don't know if people, would think of this, but I really do think when the so-called Bible is, speaking, I believe that it's a reverse origin story. I truly believe that when Lucifer, and God and all of them and all that other type stuff, and this is just a theory because this is what I thought first before I made my first statement about, what if Jesus is, Lucifer. But my first theory was that, when Lucifer went against God and everything else, and he got, he lost, what if when he got banished into the abyss, Lucifer was in the abyss and he's the one that said, let there be light. And then he created what he created, which was the world and everything else and stuff like that. And then, and being that our world, being that he is also known for music and everything else, and our world is literally made up of vibrations and frequencies. Like, know what I mean? Like, what if he's the one that created it?
Well, they said he didn't rebel against God until after the creation of man.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Well,
sure if the woman was created yet or not, but I know they stated that he didn't rebel until after the creation of man because man was supposed to be greater than even him.
yeah. But and you never know though, because like I said before, Like they take things from the original text and tell you bits and pieces of it, but not the whole entire thing. Because I think one verse in the Bible says, "Honor thy master and work the fields," or something like that. And it's like, huh? Like, know what I mean? Like, I ain't, what, you telling me to be a slave and work
Well,
the
nah,
field and honor my master?
that was used by slave masters to justify slavery.
Yeah. I knew it was something like that, because they tried to say, yeah, God said this. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
he didn't. You're lying, heifers. But,
Because they knew we couldn't read, or most of the
Mhm.
majority of us could not read. So,
And you know what? I'm not even going to cap to that neither. I really like, like I said, I think I said this before. We was here before they came. We just lost the battle. That's all that was. They friended us, and then once we had our guards down, they just conquered us, and they defeated us, and then they enslaved us.
yeah.
And then for the people, and I believe that they knew if we would have been able to read and see, certain things of their textures, and we would be able to, reverse the tide and win the battle.
Yeah,
And
no,
stuff like that.
they were the indigenous creatures. We taught them how to survive and how to be clean.
Mm-hmm. Because I want to say, to this very day, they still got wanted posters, which is crazy to me. They still got wanted posters of people back in the day who literally used to kill the slave masters and slave people and everything else. And it's like, why do you still have a wanted poster up and active for individuals that did something, 200, 300 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird to me. Like, what is you trying to say? You trying to say these people still alive? They still around? Like, like, nah, that raises like a lot of red flags.
Then I've also asked this question to a few people also, meaning like how could you really tell the difference between the so-called Antichrist and the Messiah?
Yeah. I mean, how could you tell the difference?
How would you tell the difference?
Yeah. But then that just goes back to what I said before. I mean, you can't believe in the concept of a high creator and the concept of good, but not want to believe the other side of it. Because then you're just being, oblivious to it because of the fear factor that comes with it. Because the moment that you realize that, man was created, in the image of God and all the other type stuff, you have to realize that there was things made in the image of, Satan himself.
Right. Because
Like,
I mean, from the research that I've done, just me spiritually, it's led me to believe that this physical form that we all have is just a vessel to prepare us to being a God.
Yeah. I mean, we're God made. To me, I feel like we are God made flesh. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that one of the key things that we got to do is that we have to merge the two together to see our true greatness. Like, know what I mean? Because we're made up of three things. We're made up of consciousness, flesh, and the spirit. And I feel like in order for you to really experience what it really truly means to be alive is that you have to merge all three. Because technically, we might, all of them might be in one place, but they're not one. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't do the things that we're supposed to do to make ourselves one with our consciousness, flesh, and spirit. Like, they're just literally just, I don't know, you might as well say you got, like, I guess you got your flesh in the middle, your spirit in the front, and your consciousness in the back. And we just walk around like that all day, every day. We're not completely, balanced or together. You feel me?
Right.
But then that just go back to me saying, in the original text, they have, scriptures and stuff like that telling you what you need to do. But they keep that hidden. Or they either destroy that or they hide it in the Vatican. Because the Vatican got so much information there under lock and key and under surveillance that it's not even funny. That I guarantee you, if you was to go down there and you was to look and you was to read something, you'll come out a completely different person. That's how I see it. But, sometimes, the harsh reality is that at the end of the day, the majority of mankind literally, just goes off of what they've been told or what they've been taught because they've been programmed to do so. I mean, and one of the main prime examples is the fact that, and I feel like this is why they want to ban TikTok, is because when they was over there in the unknown, well, I ain't gonna say unknown, but I cannot name the thing because they'll take this live down. But y'all all know what I'm talking about. They tried to make it seem like that those people were running a operation out of that hospital, and they tried to tell you, oh, this is the names and the stuff that they doing. But then you have somebody that literally made a TikTok video that told you all them things that they were pointing at were just schedules of working at the hospital and such not. Like they literally tried to paint and say, oh, this is the plans and what they're going to do and everything else. The whole time it's a work schedule. And all it took was for one person to stand up and be like, you know what? I'm not about to let nobody do nothing like that. That's my culture. That's where I come from. That's literally says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Jane is working from 8 to 6. John is like I mean, like, but they really tried to push that agenda to make it seem like them people were doing something. Like, I mean, like. Like we have to, that's why I say now, as the human race, when it comes down to, if you live in the United States, you can't believe them no more because
research, yeah,
you got to do your research because they'll tell you one thing and then it's another. Just like the whole 19 thing that was going on. They were telling people, hey, get vaccinated. Do this, do that. Then later, a little bit later, they telling you, oh, you didn't have to get vaccinated. You ain't had to do this. You ain't had to do that. And then a little bit later after that, you had people that actually got vaccinated that ended up dying and having life-altering things happening to them.
Right.
Then, boom, 2024 roll around. Then you in Congress, people talk about we discovered that it was a bioweapon that was made in a lab over there in a place that cannot be named. And y'all just getting away with that scot-free?
Right.
Like, nah, I can't take your word for nothing no more. Like, look what you did and look at the results of it, and you expect me to believe you?
Right, because I mean,
with my well-being,
I was about to say damn near, but no, I mean it was pretty much population control.
Literally in Congress. I want to say last month? It might have been last month, or it might have been January. I can't remember, but it's just the fact that, like, come on now, like, you mean to tell me that it took from 2020 all the way to 2024 to find out that it was a bioweapon for population control? And y'all swore up and down that, oh, it just came from out of nowhere. It's this, it's that. But the crazy thing was, it was people out here telling people that.
Right.
It was
And,
whistleblowers.
and what's even crazier is I remember that time whenever, even on YouTube, I remember several different content creators, whenever they would say those keywords, you know what I'm saying, that
Mm-hmm.
C or that 19, they videos would get taken down or they would get strikes and stuff against their channels. I remember a lot of people complaining like, wow, just because I said the word, my video is and my channel's in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm. And crazy thing is, people started just speaking in code. I remember it was, I think it's, what is it? It's a show called Game Grumps. It's, people play video games and stuff like that. And stuff, little funny. They some funny dudes. I love them. I love them to death. I haven't watched much of them lately, but I love them to death. But they started calling it the Backstreet Boy or the Backstreet Boys concert. It was like, yeah, and it was like, if you get invited to a Backstreet Boys concert, don't go. And I was just like, you know what? That's a unique way to call it, but that's what they were saying. It was called they called it that or whatever and stuff. But yeah, and then matter of fact, because I want to say it was a group of doctors that had did a YouTube video or they did a broadcast to tell people what they needed to do to, to stop the whole thing altogether. And then they took that YouTube video down and banned it. Now you can't find that video nowhere. And you know what they said for people to do, which was crazy to me? They said smoke weed. I was like, what? It was 5 of them standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, I want to say. And they was like, yeah, smoke marijuana and everything else like that. And I was like, what? And then they took it down. They took the video. You can't even find the video no more. But I find it crazy that the people that did, they didn't catch it at all.
I mean, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
I mean, I'm not going front. I feel like I had caught COVID because somebody that I went to go see had it or whatever, and they had like a bottle of liquor that they was drinking when they had it or whatever. And I'm not even going front. Like it felt crazy or whatever the case may be is, but because I want to say like my head was pounding, my chest was kind of like congested and hurting or whatever the case may be is. But after like 2 days, it went away, and all I did was just lay down and rest and drink water. But like I said, it could have been something else. But I mean, hey, I was straight.
They really try to get us out here, dog. They want us to operate with low frequency so they could make us sick and put us on medicine and destroy us slowly.
Yeah, facts. I mean, it's a lot of things that they've been lying about. I mean, think about it. For 50 years, they was telling people that, oh, if you believe in little tiny green men or flying saucers, you crazy.
Right.
And then boom. And then what happened? And then what happened after that? 2023 come along, they have an alien disclosure thing telling people about, oh, well, yeah, they exist. So it's like, bro, you telling me you did that for 50 years just to turn around and tell us, oh, they exist. And yeah, people have been hurt and attacked by them. And y'all worried, like, I mean, like, that don't, like, that, like, what? Come on now.
Nah, I mean, you really got me thinking now, bro, because we hear stories of things like mermaids and fairies, and leprechauns, and it's like, what if all this technology and different techno shots and stuff they would give you as kid was to actually block your third eye from seeing the real?
I mean, that could be a possibility because from what, some people were saying, they were saying like the water has fluoride in it, your toothpaste got fluoride in it, and those things literally, calcify your third eye. So I mean, it would kind of make sense. And I'm not even on front. I feel like, you know how when they tell people they have brain aneurysms and stuff like that they could die
Yeah.
or something like that. I really do feel like that's just your pineal gland fully calcifying, and because your body is cut off from the spirit, it kills you. Like, that's what I truly feel. Because I want to say it starts in the middle. It starts in the middle exactly where your pineal gland is, if I'm not mistaken.
Yo, that's something I'm gonna have to do some research on.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I feel like when you have a brain aneurysm, it starts exactly where your pineal gland is, or somewhere in that region. And I mean, realistically, like I said, that could literally just be your junk fully calcified and it cutting your soul off from the body, which, you know, pretty much kills you. Because I mean, you know, because people sit there and tell you all this medical stuff and all this other type stuff. They ain't doing nothing but repeating exactly what they was taught, which
Yeah,
was also,
so
you
that's
know, that's in a book. I mean, these are the same people that'll tell you, oh, you can't cure, you know, AIDS and stuff like that. But then you literally got a whole man out here that went to court over this because he had a cure for it and cured it. And all because he said he cured a disease that was literally copywritten or whatever the case may be is the only reason why he went to court in the fucking first place. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, what are you really doing besides just repeating, you know, what you was taught and everything else? I mean, because you ain't out here in no labs really doing nothing. You're not even really making no cures. You're just sitting here in the office looking at people X-rays and all this other type stuff and everything else. You ain't really doing anything. And then you over here operating on people and stuff like that. I mean, truth be told, you could have just told this person to, like, you taking out people kidneys and stuff like that. You literally could have just told them to just go do. You could have gave them a test or something like that to show what they were mineral deficient in their body, and they could have just literally just went out there and got those minerals back in their body so their body could properly heal their kidneys.
right.
To the point to where they wouldn't have to have got them removed. And it's like, regardless of how anybody may feel or who's in the medical industry and everything else, you can't argue your opinion or your so-called medical facts with proven physical facts. You just can't do it. Ain't nothing you can say or do. Like, I mean, you can't sit here and tell me, oh, you can't cure, you know, this disease with this or whatever the case may be is, and then someone turn around and prove you wrong and show otherwise. Because then that literally makes whatever you're doing pretty much obsolete. You're just a copy. You're just a big textbook, just made flesh. Like, come on, man.
No, real talk.
It literally makes no sense.
Real talk.
You can't sit here and tell me, oh, you can't do this, but then someone comes along and prove you wrong now. Now you saying, oh, he's a quack, he's lying. How? He literally has proof right here in front of me, right here in my eyeballs. And you gonna tell me, oh, like, no, bro. Who are you? You ain't that but a con man made to make the world money. Like, you ain't nobody special.
No.
Like, come on.
Now you really got me thinking, like, you know, the case
Yeah.
people say they've been abducted by aliens and the government makes them out to be crazies. And,
Like, think about it. You got all them people that said they was abducted by aliens. Like, they have vivid stories of it. Their life got changed. and y'all literally turned them away or put them in the nut house.
Yeah.
You know how many people probably in the nut house right now that probably encountered some aliens and stuff like that, and y'all put them away and took their life away from them? Like, that's crazy. Y'all owe them something.
Right.
They deserve justice because you knew they existed and you lied for 50 years about something like that. Same thing with the curing of illnesses and stuff like that. Y'all lied for like 20, 30 years, but then someone turned around and proved y'all wrong. Like, I'll never forget that, bro. You gonna turn Dr.
Yeah.
Sebi.
The man cured herpes and HIV. So yeah.
Yeah, he cured that. He cured it. And y'all literally sued him and said, no, he lying. And then he literally proved y'all right. He had patients that went in, did blood work, and showed that they had these so-called illnesses, and then turned around and had them take another one after going through his program, and they no longer had it. Like my nigga, who I'ma believe? The person that say that that the thing don't exist, or the person that just proved that it did exist and he did it? I'm not about to believe you, regardless. No matter what your criteria are. You can have 30 bachelor degrees. I'm not about to believe you. That shit ain't nothing. The hell, your bachelor degrees ain't nothing compared to his proof. What you go to school for if you ain't if he did something that you did and he ain't even had to go to school?
Right.
Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. That makes you look crazy. That makes you look like you wasted your whole entire life. You wasted your entire life being a doctor only for a man to literally do something 10 times greater than you without even wasting his life like that. Like,
No,
you
you're right.
crazy.
You wasted your time, your energy, and your money going to the school for this degree. But like you said, this man was actually out there in the field.
Exactly. Exactly. You wasted your time, money, and effort just to be a inaccurate live version of a textbook. You wasted 10 years of your life literally only to become a living wrong textbook.
Right.
And that should really tell you something. Should really tell you something about yourself. You literally sold out. You literally sold your soul to literally become the very problem that the world wants to try to prevent. Like, and that's sad. Even down to the C word. You got people out here every day with the C word. You mean to tell me two different men that come along, one man uses sound frequency and gets rid of his stage 4 C word,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all literally take the very thing he used and banned it or stopped making it. Even probably took down his old videos and stuff like that. Y'all took that down and stuff like that so people couldn't look into it.
Right.
Then you got another man who had a C word and literally went and got dog dewormer and used it and got rid of his C word. Y'all go behind him after he started getting momentum and people started looking at his junk and wanting to try it. Y'all went behind him to take down that very same dog dewormer brand that man used and took it off the shelves.
Also, you could profit in pharmaceuticals.
All for you to profit.
We
Like,
can't
come
let
on now.
guys know that they could cure it themselves. We want them to believe that they have to come to us.
Everything that the man upstairs made can help us, no matter what. Everything is designed for us.
But no kizzy, because now you just made me think they were trying to tell us something in Doctor Strange.
That nothing is the same.
He was a doctor that went through that accident, and the only thing that was able to heal him was magic.
Mm-hmm. The very thing that they tell you don't exist. This man literally went through all them surgeries to fix his hand. And you know what really fixed his hands? Him learning the secret arts. And at the end of the day, I mean, regardless of how, people may feel, that things like that also exist too. No matter how you feel and everything else, does exist, and everything else. Every time you speak a word, you pretty much speaking a magic spell. At the end of the day, you speaking a magic spell, you speaking something, you're doing stuff, you're doing it. It ain't no doubt that you really are. The fact that people feel like, oh, it's a story about, the man's upstairs son, because I don't know his real name. I'm not about to keep saying Jesus no more.
But
But
different people have different names. The Messiah, I'd say the Messiah.
all right, well, I'm gonna say Messiah. The Messiah, for instance. People feel like, oh, well, if magic don't exist, then how do you explain this man turning water into wine, or this man walking on water? What you think that's like? I mean, no matter what you say, if it's magic or it's reality manipulation, in some way, shape, and form, it's magic. It don't matter what you say. It's something that the average person can't do because the average person isn't fully balanced like he was. He came into this world fully balanced, and he displayed what he could do while fully balanced. That means merging flesh, consciousness, and spirit as one. And that's why so many cultures have different, you see some cultures that's more, in tune with consciousness. You see some cultures that's more in tune with spirit. And sometimes, you know, cultures that's more in tune with flesh. But in order for you to really grasp everything, you have to take certain cultures and merge their teachings together so you can fully grasp the concept of becoming full, basically, or complete.
I said drop the link. Oh shoot. I guess I can. I gotta let the dogs out real quick to use the bathroom one time. But I guess I could drop. You feel like sharing the platform real quick? Over.
Sure, I don't mind.
Copy this thing. I'll let my dude G join in, and then I'm gonna let the dogs out so they can use the bathroom real quick.
All right.
Salute both of you, gentlemen.
Salute to you too.
Hey, sir, have you ever had the Holy Ghost?
The Holy
Well,
Ghost?
yes, sir.
No.
I had it. Listen, I had it before, and it was something that I couldn't even control. So when you say how can that happen, like my body wouldn't sit down, but my mind would tell my body to sit down. I didn't have no control over my body.
Did you get control of it, or
Yes, sir. When as they call it the Holy Ghost, when you left, yes, that, yeah, yes, I did, sir. Like you know how you tell your okay, for example, you know how you tell your body when in your mind you say sit, you sit. In your mind you say talk, you talk, right?
uh
In your
huh?
mind you say blink, you blink, right?
Yeah.
I did. I listen. I start speaking in tongues and jumping up and down.
So do you like and I ain't trying to be
No. You
disrespectful
can't
or
offend,
nothing like
sir. You
that.
can't offend. Listen, sir. You can't offend me. We're having a normal conversation. You have opinion just like I do. I cannot get
Ah,
mad at your opinion, sir.
okay. So do you feel like, well, for me listening to that, do you feel like that could have been your body trying to push whatever it was out of you though?
You saying that it try to push the evil out of me?
No, I'm saying like, did you ever think that when you so called got the Holy Spirit, did you ever think that maybe it was something that shouldn't have been there and it was trying to push it out?
Um, I would say. I mean, okay. Since you said like, cause so you throw me off a little bit because only way I can answer that question is say what it had to be evil in me that it was pushing out.
Nah, because what I was saying earlier is that if you really think about it, that if a divine spirit was to possess you or enter your body wouldn't be able to handle that, and it would literally destroy you because of how high that power is. So what I was
Okay.
saying,
So I can answer that question. I ain't mean to cut you off. Finish. So I'm finna answer your question because I got where you going to.
yeah,
So you saying that if it did come inside of me, I would explode. Basically, that's what you're saying, right?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say explode, but I mean, you could say that because the human body wouldn't be able to handle that.
Right. So what would happen? The body would explode, right?
And I guess you could say that. I mean,
If it, okay, I'm trying to figure, sir. I'm trying to have understand where you come from, so I can answer to my best ability. I don't want to, answer to a full ability.
okay, what I'm saying is like, all right, say like if I guess God is an all powerful being and everything else like that. And they say that, you wouldn't be able to see God or hear his voice because it would literally drive you insane or something like that, right? So my thing is, if that's the case, it would be kind of impossible for a spirit of that much magnitude to possess a human body because it would literally destroy it because the body wouldn't be able to handle that.
Oh, okay. So my favorite part of the Bible is the Noah and the Ark part. Out of all that, I like that because people didn't believe that what he said was fact. They thought, oh, he was talking crazy. But at the end, they realized that they was thinking crazy. You understand where I come from?
Hmm.
So well, me saying that is, if listen in the Bible, the parts I really understand and I get is we all gonna go through we all gonna go through trials and tribulation. In the Bible, it just showed you that the trials and tribulation that you going through, somebody else went through something worse than that. They lost their brother. They didn't have eyesight. They had to fight a giant. They had to build an ark. You know what I'm saying? It just cares for you to be a strong person and don't fall down. That's what the Bible basically a school book of.
Hmm. So, but what I'm saying is though, like, is there any thought process to you that might make you feel like, well, I don't think that was supposed to happen, or I don't think that was right, but like, know what I mean? Like, I guess like you might have been told it was good, but do you feel like it was good personally?
Personally, sir, since that day, my life has did a whole. freaking 360. My life is awesome. Awesome. Listen, see, I'm not gonna put a name on it. I'm gonna say it like this. I served the man that sits high and look low. So we're not gonna put a name on it. You get what I'm saying? You could call whatever
Hmm.
you want to call him,
Yeah.
but that's the man I served. Because when my back was against the wall and I didn't have nobody, he was there. When I was locked up, I ain't had nobody, he was there. When I was going through problems, he was there. When I had took family losses, he was there. So if I believe in him? Yes, I do. Because I done went through so many struggles that I see what the people in the Bible went through.
Okay. I mean, that's understandable. But from so what you saying, you personally, you feel like when you had that moment, your entire life changed around for the better, and you didn't want, and you consider that it was a good feeling or whatever the case may be is and stuff like that, and it changed your life. But my thing is, I mean, regardless of how anyone may feel, to me that doesn't seem right.
Okay. So let's put it like this. I understand what you're trying to say. It don't seem right, but science will tell you something that you'll believe when science is based off of things that they trying to remake that's happened. Like they'll try to make lightning. They'll try to make wind. They'll try to recreate the heat from the sun and the coldness from the winter. But that's all come from where? Earth, natural. So it's hard to believe certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like if I told you you seen something and I don't believe it, I didn't go through it, so I can't tell you what to believe. You know what I'm saying? Say I can't say you crazy because at the end of the day, that could have been an evil spell, that could have been a creature, it could have been anything. I'm not gonna tell you that your mind played trick on you because you know what your mind went through and seen. You get where I come from?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but just my whole thing is like, you know, you might have experience, like say, like if I had experienced what you may experience. Now, if I had went through it and and nobody told me, oh yeah, that's the Holy Spirit and everything else, and stuff like that. If it was like my first time, I'm oblivious to, church and stuff like that and everything else. If something like that was to happen to me and no one explained what it was, I would assume, like, from pure experience and the fact that I had no control over myself, that it was something bad. And
Okay,
it's just the whole thing that, how do we really truly know if this was truly something when we're just going by what somebody said and what somebody told us versus how we feel and what we weren't able to do while in that state?
okay. So you want me to open up the other door? Because I know where you're going to again. You want me to open up the door?
Yeah, you can.
I was just like I was a person that I was in between knowing God when that happened. I didn't nobody told me what it was.
Hmm.
I listen, every question I ever had, I asked the man up above and not the people because it tell you that man will fail you in the Bible. So who can you go to? Like my questions and my answers and all this, the knowledge, I got it from God. I didn't get it from no man. I got it from the man that sits high and look low. I didn't get it from no man.
Hmm.
Because when I was going to church, I was watching them take money every Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Sundays, and nothing upgrading with the church, but they vehicles is upgrading, they clothes is upgrading. You get where I come from?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I question how they gonna like my question was to God was how is these people, and then I realized that the man up above told me is just because they wear suits, they are hold higher than you. Don't think they're gonna get in heaven before you. They counted for a lot more than you are. You know, because they got sheep that they supposed to be leading. If they're not leading these sheep down the wrong way, what do you think?
No, they will
Uh,
perish.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you also got to remember too that a lot of things that that's preached to us and everything else is not the complete real text and everything else. So realistically, I mean, how do we really know? How do you physically really know that who you're speaking to is the person that you're supposed to be speaking to and not the other side? And they're just rewarding you for worshiping them and giving them praise and stuff like that.
Okay, you want me to answer that, sir?
Yeah.
Because before I found this person, my listen, this I knew it wasn't no evil spirit. Because at the end of the day, it made me more like, oh, I'm not a punk and let nobody beat me up or nothing like that. I
Hmm.
got a piece of steel, so it's like I believe in God, but if God made me be the person that take you out, God can forgive me for it because He knew before I knew what was finna happen. You get where I'm come from? So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I'm a more nicer person. I'm a more gentle person. Like I care more. So it can be negative because when it's negative, people that's negative that don't care always feeling negative. If I get like, sir, I ain't gotta know you. If I see you and you look like you need some change, I'm giving to you. You say you look like you need some meat, I'm giving you. I done gave people shoes, socks, and all that, sir. So before then, it was self only. I didn't care about nothing. My personality and who I was changed to be positive. That's how I know that it was the positive energy rather than negative energy.
Mm. I feel what you're saying, but the only issue that I have with that entire thing is that the fact that no one knows the correct name, right? And I feel like that regardless of what the real pronunciation is or what the name is, if
I
you
call him
say,
Jehovah. I call him Jehovah.
okay,
Jehovah.
if you was to say, oh, I worship Jehovah and everything else and stuff like that, and you find out later on down the line that's not the creator's name and everything else, then you would have to come to the realization that, oh, I've been praising somebody else and not the real thing.
Okay,
But
so listen. Remember that I told you when you saying I listen when you saying that the person who I'm serving might not be their name.
mhm,
Remember, listen. Okay, so I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say it like this. You remember in the Bible how God chose certain people as Israelites and all that, right? If you know a
mhm,
little bit about it, right? Do you know every time? Every listen. So nowadays, it repeat the cycle. It repeat the cycle. God have chosen the ones that He choose. They know they've been chosen. The one have not been chosen. Don't know they've been chosen.
yeah,
Sir, I'm telling you, my word don't come from only the Bible. My word don't come from what man says. My word comes from the person who I'm serving. So if I'm serving the wrong person, then he faults my heart for trying to find him and serve him. He's a caring person. We all learned that. So he knew I'm trying to find him and have him in my life. So if I'm serving the wrong person and his name's something different, he listen. At the end of the day, it's not the name. It's the faith. At the end of the day, they say all you gotta do is have faith as a mustard seed. It's not the name. Let's take the
yeah,
name out. Let's think about that. It's the belief. I believe that some of the stuff in the Bible, because at the end of the day, in this time limit, I'm seeing the same thing: flood, fire, death, people killing people over hate. So that's what I believe out the Bible. I believe the sacrifice and the trials and the tribulation of the Bible. That's what I
mhm.
believe in.
I mean, and that's understandable, but also I would like to add, you said that he has chosen people and stuff like that and everything else. I mean, these people might not know that they chosen and such not like that. But what I'm saying right now, I could be a chosen person and I could be telling you this to enlighten you and shine the truth in your eyes. because realistically, they saying God gonna do this and God gonna do that, and all of a sudden it's happening. But then you also have to bring in the factor that hey, this Bible has been altered from its original text and has things taken out. So this could have been a plan that has been in thousands and thousands of years in the works.
Sir, listen. I listen. I had told somebody this a while ago, and they had to come back to me and say this: if bef- if you searching for somebody, he's out there. But at the end of the day, if me and you, if you saying okay, I can be out there, and you could be one. If you was one, you wouldn't question what I'm saying. I never took. Listen, if you listen to what I'm saying, so you trying to have a disagreement on something that I'm trying to listen. The man up above the one told me how to talk to you. I'm saying in normal words. You're quoting, you're saying things in the Bible. I told you, I believe the sacrifices and the trials and the tribulation that I see now in this day right now that's going on is repeating the cycle. I didn't quote nothing out no Bible like John is or nothing. I'm telling you the trials and the tribulations in the Bible, I believe.
Okay, and I understand that, but I'm not quoting anything. I'm just using things for example. But I mean, realistically, I mean, I'm pretty much doing the same thing you're doing, but at a brighter concept of
Excuse me, sorry. What do see? That right there is you're listen. You're judging me off of
it. Huh?
what you believe. I didn't listen. I have never doubt. Listen, you can't. You've been saying stuff. I've been having no conversation. Sir. The problem with us as people, and I learned in my time living or being one of the chosen one is it was no reason for this, sir. We can have a disagreement. You like, oh, you less than me. No, sir. How I'm less than you? I'm telling you my beliefs. You're telling me your belief. I can't say listen. Only way we're gonna find out I believe who right or wrong is at the end. At the end. But right now we just gotta run the race. We got ready to the end to see who won the race, who was correct. I'm not gonna insult you. I haven't insulted nothing you said, sir. I can't do I'm trying to talk to you the best way and not offend you or say nothing. I haven't said nothing that I'm telling you. Everything I'm saying is me, my where how I came to where I'm at. It's no wrong answer and no correct into it. You don't have to correct nothing about it. It's me. I can't tell you about you, sir. You'll tell me like, oh, that you don't understand, sir. At the end of the day, I seen things, and what I'm telling you is the easiest part. Anybody else would, if you be having this conversation, will be quoting stuff out the Bible. This part, that part. I didn't quote nothing but trials and tribulations and sacrifices. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I. That's the only thing I spoke about, right?
Yeah, that's all you spoke about. I mean,
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't take it
So
as disrespect or nothing, and I didn't see it as me being superior or you being superior. I was just saying like, did you ever just stop and think and then just question certain things?
yeah, I question how I see the okay. Ooh, you remember you said that man don't talk to us.
Who?
You remember you said that whatever you want to call him, say he don't talk to us.
No, I didn't say he couldn't talk to us, but we
Hey,
wouldn't be
listen,
able
just get
to.
about it. Listen,
Uh,
the reason that supposed to be the devil or the evil spirit, he got put out because he did the same thing you did. That's what the man above said. He did the same thing you did. Try to tell people this and that, and tell them what they this and that is wrong. So he had to go because he was trying to run the kingdom, and he wasn't the king. He was a worker for the king, but he was trying to run the kingdom. Mm. That's when you know you wanted to chosen when you would post stuff like that. I don't have to use terms out the Bible. I use real life stuff that God gave me. The man up above, the man that sits high and look out, Jehovah, my Posier, the one I worship because I what I've been through. If you know what I've been through, sir, you probably have cried. But I'm strong. So that's why I believe in that. Because anything that can help you not lose your mind and keep your mind and steady your mind on to better things and show you that it's a every listen, every trial and tribulation, it's an outcome of it. That's amazing. People, what I went through, people unlive themselves. I'm right to my mind. I ain't have been in no mental hospital. I take care of my kids. I'm a good father. I'm a good husband. At the end of the day, I love my wife. I love my kids. I listen. If you believe the same thing you is, you my brother in Christ. I love you too. Because how can I tell a person that serving the same person me and he my brother that I, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I know I serve the power rather than the negative power. Negative power is the power who tries to put people down and tell people that I haven't never said, listen, you did, and when you said you said, you was like, well, you don't, that kind of was offensive. If you next time you run it back, you can hear it. Like I didn't say nothing wrong. That's why I defended myself because I'm like, where are you going there with me?
Okay, what did I say?
Sir, I can't listen. I just said so much in the spirit and talk to me and all that. I'm kind of through, but I know it was something about when I had said my beliefs and you had said I told you about the you first you was like the Bible stuff, certain things being written different in the Bible, but it's like, can I ask you a question? Because you asked me a question. So can I ask you a question?
Sure,
What make you believe the things you believe? That
because
it's
it's
not
well.
that everything I believe is wrong. If I may ask you that, please.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying everything that you know is wrong, but I mean, have you never really questioned everything that you know? And then, I mean, not only have the text been altered, it's been things that's been taken out of it that we're supposed to use in our everyday normal lives.
You said what we supposed to do what?
I said there's things that was taken out of the Bible that we're supposed to do in our everyday lives, but they took in passages out. They didn't took scriptures out and everything else, and they replaced them with certain things that just don't match up.
So let me tell you something like this. See, you see how you quoting the Bible and you saying what's in the Bible, sir?
I didn't quote
No, he
anything from the
didn't quote the
Bible.
Bible at
I
all,
mean,
Jamal.
I mean, what he's saying. Listen, what I'm saying is basically when he's saying things, even though he's not saying certain things out the Bible, he keep on the part of it is, I'm like he said he could be here to help me. I can be here to help him. One thing I haven't said, sir, I understand exactly what you're saying. That's why I'm not saying. Listen, that's why I said that the part of the Bible that they couldn't take out was the trials and tribulation. If you understand that part of it, I don't listen. They add it and they subtract it, but
But
they
why would
couldn't.
you ever subtract from the Bible though if that's what his word was? That's what I'm saying. Why would you ever add anything or subtract anything? Like that's why I
Okay,
feel like
so
that's kind of like a little red flag for me.
okay, so okay, put like this. Okay, you got to think about this. Okay, we got the good spirit, right? We got the good person, right? And
Hmm.
you ever watch, you know how y'all was talking about movies and they show things, you know how they got the angel and then they got the same thing and how the
Hmm.
same thing change things and do all that. Don't you think that he had a part of that being happen? So people can be questioning the way you are doing right now.
What do you mean?
So okay. So if Satan listen, so if we on the race, right? Okay, me and you. I'm listen. I don't care. I'm just gonna say me and you. I'm a person. I'm the number one. You the number. Well, no, we number one both, right? But
Hmm.
we both trying to get at least a million people. I gotta fool people to get people from you. If I fool them, if I can tell them you do evil and I give you money, or you do this, you do this, I give you money. See, in one part of it, like you gotta understand, me, I understand that when it says that money is our root, certain things they could not change because if they change it, they didn't have listen, they might have thought they were smart, but they couldn't change everything because then the Bible wouldn't be nothing. So they had to have something to have at least have listen that they had something because at the end of the day, God give you a will to follow him. The devil force you by putting thoughts in your mind when you can't control yourself. A person that's weak minded can be tricked out of anything. And when you down and you out and you sensitive and you broke down, your body is vulnerable for anything to happen, right or wrong. Sir, I'm right or wrong.
I mean, you right to a certain extent, but it still doesn't change the fact that you can't. Why would you add and subtract from his word? If he said it, he said it. Like that's it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Oh,
If
okay.
if he told me, hey, you need to fast for a certain amount of days and everything else like that, why would you take that vital information out of his word that he said? That
So
would
so
mean,
okay, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
but that would literally mean that you're basically hindering me from doing what I really need to do to actually be one with the Most High.
So I I'm how do you say this? Give me the strength to say this. Them corners I understand exactly where you come from, but when you when it put like this, you go to school, you learn something, right? So you asking the question, why did they subtract out the Bible? Because if they didn't subtract out the Bible, we would know we were stronger. We would know we the chosen ones. We would know all that. So they had to take that out so we would know.
Yeah, that's
Why
what
did
I'm saying. So it's like, why would you want to follow, this right here when it's not the correct teachings and it's meant to basically weaken you? That's what I'm saying.
okay, listen. So I'm gonna give you something that just came to my mind, right? Y'all see the everything y'all said earlier is it worked into the word if you didn't know it. Cause I was supposed to be asleep. Something just made me, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there, I'm like, ooh, it just popped up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it. I sat there and said,
Hmm.
I listened to everything I said. So at the end of the day, the people back in the days from the slavery was they couldn't read the Bible, but they would but they served they knew their ancestors. Like when you put like this, they don't understand us because we are not creatures. We are the humans of the world. So how listen, if they didn't change that, we would be we'll be stronger. We'll be more than what they make us think. Because what they did to the Bible, we got misleaded in certain places, and because they made them mistake. Listen, when they would the evil part of doing it, they knew that that they was going to get a lot of people like that. But when you think about it, if you take the part, if you take what you could take out of it, because you got to think about everything you don't get the hold of. So you take what you take out of it and you learn. I learned that the trials and tribulations and the sacrifices, all that, and what people went through is happening now. So that's why that's why the part of the Bible I understand. The part that's missing, that's what the chosen get. I understand exactly what you're saying. That's what the chosen get. That we are the chosen. So at the part that they took out, I still know it now. Right now, I'm one of the chosen. So I didn't get lead. So you got to know that. You gonna come from the part they took out. So I wouldn't know that. I know that now because I got out the Bible and got to talking to the man. When you was in church, they say you can always talk to God. God always hear you. He do. He do. He do. He hear everything. He there when nobody's there. When you in a wall in a corner by yourself, he don't come when you want to, but he come on time.
And that's completely understandable. And I fully agree with you to a certain extent. But my thing is if this man said this, that, and the third, and you do anything other than that, or you put and take everything out, then that word is tainted.
Right.
And realistically, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to read nothing that's tainted. I don't want to read nothing that's wrong. I mean, if you look at the original text that they used the copy to make the Bible, the churches wasn't in there, the Christians wasn't in there, the name Jesus wasn't in there, and the name God wasn't in there. So, it's just sitting here like you have all these people out here that's claiming this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, wait, hold on now, because if you copied your text from here, why are you putting these things in here and everything else and saying, oh, this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is what you're supposed to be praying to. And it's just like, nah, I can't rock with that. Like realistically, because it's like, what if I'm doing the wrong thing? I mean, and the reason why I speak so highly of it and so strongly of it, because I'm the type of person, I don't want to see people fall. I don't want to see people follow something that they shouldn't be following. The greatest trick in the world that Lucifer Morningstar could ever do is show people that, hey, I don't exist, but you gonna praise me whether you know it or not. Like, know what I mean? Like, that's why I feel like, hey, you gotta question everything.
Hey, guess what? Guess what the killer part about the situation is? Guess what messed up the world?
What?
When Eve bit the apple. That's when people could see. At first they couldn't see. See, the killer part about it is you can read anything. And guess what? Anything can throw your mind off. You can read a book right now and think something it can say, and you can read something, and a little bit of that makes sense. A little bit of it makes sense. And you believe everything out the book because one or two, three or four or five or 10 or 20 things. At the end of the day,
Yeah, but then when you bring that up, then you got to remember that Adam had more. Adam, that wasn't his wife, that was his sister. When you keep it all the way 100, Adam had what? 4 wives. He had Lilith. No, he had 2 wives, Lilith and another woman, and Eve was his sister, and that's what the original text
hey,
say.
so remember remember earlier I said they add and subtract. Could you think that let me tell you something like this? Okay, we're gonna put like this, right? They say the one people is the highest people who ride around in the core and all that, right?
Hmm.
But if you do their research, they are messing up kids early by them priests doing what they do to them. So
Yeah, I fully
so
agree.
so you got to think about this. So that part that you just quoted could be wrong in the Bible. Because what do that part have to do with the listen? What that part? But let's okay. You open up a door, and I'm gonna go ahead and take it since you open up this door. So this the part of it. That part. What do that part serve? That he had more than one wife. When at the end of the day, that don't serve no purpose in life now. That's a throw off. But Noah and the Orc, Daniel and all that's what going on nowadays. That's what going on right now to this day. That's what going on. What do whoring and having multiple wives and being dating their sister or their brother or their daddy have anything to do with life? That is, we supposed to reproduce, but not with the same with not with our
That's an
family members.
American mindset. Is men that live in other countries who are successful and can have more than one wife. It's called sister wife. That's documented.
Let's put it like this: if this man have more than one wife, right? And when it was say every if every family stop having kids, all them every last one of his kids gonna be brothers and sisters or cousins, and they're gonna be so related that the kids gonna come out with deforms and all that. That's why it's not meant to have more than one wife and all that. Yeah, you can date more than one woman, but if you have more than one wife, them kids are gonna grow up, and if you get say all 4 women that you got sister wife get pregnant, you got 2 daughters and 3 sons. Them kids are all the same age.
Well, how would they be deformed?
Science say DNA shouldn't double up too many times. That's why dogs be jacked up. You think
Well, yeah,
if
that's through incest, but I'm trying to figure out what are you saying, like Adam and his wives?
no, I mean like you gotta think about okay, so it if if everybody has multiple wives, right? Then at the end of the day, them kids are going to start being they're going to be close related.
Nah, I don't see that, G. I don't get that. Nah, I can't agree with you on that one.
Okay,
If
so say
everybody
I
has
got five.
multiple wives, then that means there's more than enough people for you to multiply with
Reprodu-
without having to
yeah,
mix DNA
reproduce
too
with.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched this thing on YouTube where this man had, I think like in overseas he had like over 90. He had it was like 90. It was like 96 of them. They was the biggest family in they thing. And when the man was sitting there and they was talking to him, he was like, yeah, they end up they it end up happening like that because they the biggest family. They the biggest family. What you ain't got no choice. But if the biggest family is to date outside the family, it's so many of them. They're gonna date.
Hmm.
They're gonna
Yeah.
date. You
I
gotta think
mean,
about it.
realistically, I mean, if you have enough different people, and well, if you got two families, and both of those families, one person got, three wives, and the other one person got three wives, and they have children. Realistically, you could still multiply and not have to worry about any birth defects and everything else. And realistically, only people that can really have birth defects when it comes down to mating with, people that might be related to you are, people that are related to, I guess, the people that come from the Caucasus Mountains.
The Neanderthals.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying like back in that time it was. Listen, back in that time it wasn't. I mean, listen, if in their time limit, yeah, they had more than one wife, but that's because you gotta remember Eve came out of real, so they had to reproduce much as they can to that. You know what I'm saying? And they say that I believe that that ideal that was in the because remember they said it's supposed to flood it. I believe that ideal end up being the way I'm saying it is that they end up being so close in family down the line because it wasn't that many people. So I believe that that what I'm saying happened. That's why because what other be the reason of flooding and taking everybody out and only keeping one family
Well,
because they
Oh,
yeah, the
probably
I
all
Bible
family.
mean,
said that he flooded the earth because of the multiple sins that was being committed, the blasphemy towards God, the homosexuality that wasn't
Okay,
pleasant
so
to God, so he decided to destroy the world and recreate it.
oh, no, 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 no.
that's what's going
God
on right now.
flooded,
So why we ain't flooded then? That's what's
God
going on right
flooded
now.
the,
Because he made a
God,
promise that he wouldn't use water to recreate the earth again. It would be used by fire.
well, technically,
That sound like
you know,
for the whole subject that we've been learning is he like when they doing them videos and they serving it, you see fur. I don't think he's gonna send fire when that's that's the other man will of thing because that's not he like that's not his. He's not he don't you gotta think about it. He don't deal in fire. He deal in you know what I'm
God
saying,
gave us fire. I mean, fire is an element that God gave
man-made
us.
fire. Man-made fire when they put two rocks together.
but still an element that God gave us. That's not something that Satan creates. Satan can't create anything. He can only corrupt.
And he doing it. Listen, not that when we having debates about this kind of stuff, he doing his job because we shouldn't be having this debate much as the world went through in their time limit.
Uh, but first to correct you though, God flooded the world because angels had came down and were reproducing with human beings, which gave them
That's
the
right. They were
giants.
making Nephilim giants like
They was making
Goliath.
Nephilims, and
Yeah,
he flooded the world. And when he thought he purged it from the world, it came back, and then he ended up hitting it with fire.
Wait,
That's why
Can you say that again, sir? I misunderstood. Say that one more time, please.
God flooded the world because the angels known as the Watchers were reproducing with humans, and it ended up making the Nephilim. So he flooded the world, and when he thought he got rid of it all, they ended up coming back because some of them survived, and then he hit the world with fire. And he said out of his mouth that he would never flood the world or destroy the world with fire again. That's why he did those, because the human DNA was literally corrupted by Nephilim, which were the offspring of angels mating with human beings.
Okay, so could listen. Okay, so now I'm gonna play you now. Do you mind?
Okay.
So how do you figure that was why it couldn't be what I just said? It could be that they start reproducing and they start being so kin. Why did that? Listen, look, at the end of the day, you said that you said angels came down and
Hmm.
reproduced with the people, right?
Yeah.
So was they angels or because they was breaking his they was breaking his will? So that mean they was disobeying him. That's what you telling me.
The angels? I mean, the angel coming down and mating with the human beings, I mean, that's one thing, but that would have mean that Adam mating with his three different wives ended up making a population of humans that weren't deformed or anything else like that because the angels were astonished by their beauty.
yeah. That's why they left heaven and chose to
That's
sleep
why,
with the
yeah,
daughters of God. Right.
and that's why some of those angels were cast out of heaven, and some of them were chained to the earth, and they still chained there to this very day.
So
So
how
I mean,
listen, so how do you know that it was that it wasn't that it was the other side rather than the angel side that did that. And that's why he did what he did.
What do you mean,
because
other
the
side?
other side didn't have angels, because all the angels had got cast down
But
into the
where
abyss
do you listen, so where do you get that information from that you quoted it? Please, everybody may know.
from the original text.
So how do you know? Listen. So how do you listen? The original text is making it seem like angels was disobeying God when the angels that like if he knew that what's the name was trying to take over heaven, how could he not know that they was doing what they were doing? So my thing is, could it be the evil side that was doing it, and that's why he did what he did? Because you're making it seem like that nobody obeyed the creator.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
These are his words and what he said. I mean, if he said a third of heaven rebelled against him and fought and lost, then obviously these angels have free will just like we do, because those very same angels was the same angels that were tempted by the human flesh and made it with them and made children from them. So realistically, I mean, it's not really disobeying. They have free will just like we do.
Right.
So my question to you, sir, is How do you know what you read was that was written by one of the chosen or written by one of the evil? How do you know that? Because I mean,
because it's the original text that every other book that you probably read or anybody else read came from. It just took certain things out of it.
but the part I'm not understanding is you saying a third. Listen, you said a third of heaven traded
Yeah,
on
a
him.
third of the heaven. But
A third,
went to
a
war
third.
with Lucifer to overthrow God, and they lost.
Right, right. So
So
let
that
so we gonna put it like this. So you're proving me to be correct because you said a third of it with Lucifer went against him. So it was not angels. It was no longer they was no longer angels. They was no longer reside of heaven. They was with Lucifer. So at the end of the day, that's why he flooded because the Lucifer people was breeding with the his creation,
That
and
ain't
that
what the
wasn't going
text
down.
said.
And that
I
wasn't
can't
going.
agree with you on that because I
yeah,
gotta go
because
by what the
realistic
text said. The text said angels from heaven descended unto earth to procreate
to
with
mate with them.
daughters
So
of
that
God.
would mean that after he banished the one third or the two thirds of heaven into the abyss where they were bound at, that would mean that other angels from heaven came down and did things that that went against what he was all right with. So
Right.
yeah, I
The
mean,
only the only angel that was cast to hell that could still go to heaven is Satan because
yeah,
he must seek God and ask God for his permission to do anything. But
yeah, pretty much.
This is a nice build up. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but somewhere it's a misunderstanding of what we saying to each other.
Where are you lost at so we can pretty much like clear that up and such now?
Because my the spirit, not me, the spirit saying is that's hey, you know what? I'm so happy I came. Y'all just taught me something. What did the destruction happen there? Yeah,
The
thank you.
destruction?
Yeah, where it went because I always wanted to know that. And
Oh,
sometimes
it happened in Pangea when all the continents and everything else was together. That's why now when you look at a map and stuff like that, that's why everything is separate because he struck it with water first. And then when you see some places that's barren and don't really have any life and stuff like that, he did that with fire. I mean, because the proof is right there. Like know what I mean. Like it also used to be, and another reason why he flooded the world the first time was because a lot of the Nephilim were doing things that they weren't supposed to do, like chopping down great trees and everything else like that. And we still have remnants of those great trees still here to this very day, with the very tools that was used to take them down.
true, it is document giant swords and axes that the size of a human now could not bear at all.
Yeah, the size of countries and stuff like that. It's literally a cut down tree that you can probably like look up, or that they say that's a mountain, but realistically it was a tree. And the giants cut it down. And that was one of the main reasons why he flooded the earth, because they were causing chaos and they were corrupting people. So he flooded the world and everything else. And then the corruption came back. And after that, he hit it with fire. That's why we have, that's why all the lands and everything are separated. That's why you have buildings and structures that's underwater and everything like that. And That's why you have some barren lands that can't grow any life there because he hit it with fire. You know, I'm not saying that his word, he ever lied about it or whatever, but his original sayings, everything is right there in front of us. It's just some people just don't really look at it. I mean, the proof right there, you know. We got a tree that was clearly probably the tree of knowledge that was cut down that was not supposed to be cut down. Then we have lands that were supposed to be together, but they are no longer together. And then you have barren lands that can't grow no life there that got struck by fire. But you know, the
So
American
I got
Bible.
so I got a question for you. What do you? I mean, what do you think that thing was? Was it a alien or a creature of evil?
I mean, realistically, you know, like I said earlier, I mean, in order to understand the concept of good and evil, you got to look at the good side of the spectrum and look at the bad side of the spectrum. And you know, like you said earlier, you know, hey, sometimes it's some corrupt things out there. And I mean, realistically, I mean, it could have been a creature of evil and stuff like that because you have too many people that have seen similar things, and you also have people that have gone missing or people that's been hurt in the process of seeing things like that. And, you know, people don't believe them or people feel like, oh, well, that's a lie or whatever the case may be is. But I mean, these are things that dwell on that side of the spectrum.
So
I
how
mean,
long so how long you been feeling the way you feel?
what do you mean by what?
How you talk and how long you been talking like this?
Talking like what?
About how the whole conversation we had. We had a conversation about the beliefs and the Bible and what's real and what's not real and heaven and these people this and that and that. How long you been feeling like that, sir?
Mm, I don't know. I might as well say like my whole life. I might as well say. I mean, it's just probably now or maybe about what 4 years ago where I really started really looking at everything. So
And if I may ask, how old are you, sir?
I am 33.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, you sound, sir. I thought you was older than me, sir.
Well, nah, it's just the voice, man. Like it's just the voice.
Okay, okay. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, you know what? This conversation, anybody else, remember the question you said, how do I know that 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 is the person I'm talking to is good or bad? Because you
Uh
have this
huh.
conversation with anybody else, bro, y'all have been arguing, people have been getting yelling at each other. Yeah, yeah, it would have been way different. Let's be real, right and wrong.
No, I done had this conversation with plenty of people, and you know, they took what I said and they started, you know, looking into things. And then
No, I
that's
said
when they started, you know, to realize that hey, something ain't right. I
so. No,
mean,
what I'm
cause
saying, I'm talking about the people that consider Christians that, oh, you can't say nothing about their creator and they gonna go to war with you. Them people, you would have it would have been worse, right?
yeah, I mean, not really, cause I mean, all I would have told them is pretty much, you know, just look into it. I mean, I ain't really doing nothing but trying to help people, really. At the end of the day, I mean, I ain't trying to, you know, push nobody away from, you know, this, that, and the third. It's just I feel like the same, you know, if you are, you know, worshiping something else, you know, just pick up and go to the right place. I mean, you ain't doing nothing wrong. You just in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it would have went anywhere because at the end of the day, it ain't nothing but help.
No, I mean, I listen. I didn't hear people have conversation. With people like on this kind of situation, it's a real shooky situation because some people get, they like when I was telling you my situation. Certain people get, they get all in their feelings because they feel like you downate, what they believe. People will argue back and forth about like really get hostile about they beliefs. You understand where I come from now?
I mean, realistically, I mean, it's understandable, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's more of like a panic feeling for them though when it comes to stuff like that. And then you got some people that are literally they'll start telling people stuff like this or other stuff just to persuade them to come to their religion and stuff like that. I mean, in my case, I just want people to just open their eyes and really see things for what it really is. So
So do
it's
you?
like I
So
ain't.
so do you think? So to you, my eyes are closed, right?
Nah, I wouldn't just say they was closed or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, actually just take your time and start looking into things and, if things seem fishy or whatever the case may be is, regardless of, you know, what other people might tell you, just go another direction.
I listen. I did had conversation with people about that. Have you ever had a conversation with people about the universe? The universe, them people. So I mean, I didn't deal with this before because at the end of the day, it's your beliefs. So you could believe that you saving me, but at the end of the day, who's to know if you really saved me or you throw me off my phone? Not saying you trying to, sir, but how do you know you're not trying to throw me off of me being on the right thing? Because at the end of the day, uh, the question was asked earlier, a body that doesn't have a set stand in it, uh, the spirit can jump in it, positive, negative. Like okay, for example, we can be having a conversation and you can have an open vessel. You know what I'm saying? What I mean open vessel is, your beliefs might have where you have an open vessel. My belief is when my vessel is closed. So the spirit can jump. Like when you say that thing could have been a spirit that was trying to jump in your body to put you at the predicament of different, your thoughts being different. You know that, right?
What do you mean? Because I don't think I said nothing
Okay, so
about nothing jumping in my body.
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is, okay, remember you seen the thing?
Oh yeah, you mean when if you was in church, how you know if that was something good that jumped in you?
No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about remember you when you seen the thing outside the house, or when you was telling the story about it shook you up.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That could have been an evil spirit that was trying to take it, go inside your body to make you go to an evil side. You know what I'm saying? But
I
with the
mean,
vision,
I
yes, sir.
understand what you're saying, but nah, that was more of a physical thing. Well, both of the things was, and I got video evidence of the second thing. So, I mean, as far as like the first thing go, I don't know what that was. Like I said, it looked like it was just strolling through, like it didn't have no worries in the world, like it owned things and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I know for a fact that I'm not all the way, you know, spiritually awoke to the point to where I could just see something, see something, like a spirit or something like that standing in front of me and then disappear, unless it reveals itself to me purposely. But I mean, that right there was something physical, and I wasn't the only person that saw it because somebody else seen it before me and literally fell, hit the concrete and everything, and ran in their house before I seen it. I just seen
So
this
so
man hit the ground and just run in the house. So
so
I'm
so
looking at
so
him like, what's going on?
so
And
if you
then,
listen, the whole part of it, see, The whole point of it, sir, is I'm telling you this because it just run like a school bell in my head. The reason that you both think it, so you wouldn't feel like you lost your mind. You can go from you don't listen. You don't have to be fully spiritual. When they come, they are trying to come for people that not fully spiritual because they are easy to lead. You would let right now you like put like this. Another prophet told me this one day, and it made perfect sense. So in your process, you're 50% evil, 50% good. The part of the part is because you believe this part, but then you believe this part. So if the good side can jump in, it's like we were talking about earlier, how they in the movie they have the white angel and the red devil, right? That is some of this stuff. Okay, for example, I'm gonna use like this is how it goes. You got prophets that use their they call prophets people that can predict and see things. Some people had guilt that they didn't even understand, so they didn't use their guilt for the positive. They used it for the negative. Like they went about the greed and the money, and they didn't think about the lead. You know what I'm saying? Because you see it nowadays in churches, it's about the money and not the you know what I'm saying. It's the so you understand where I'm coming from, sir? Or I'm not coming across right.
It sounds like you saying like people that have gifts, they use it for material gain and stuff like that, and because they use it for material gain, they end up, I guess, I don't know, I guess attracting certain negative things towards them or something.
No, so okay, so if okay, say I had say you had a gift, right?
Hmm.
And I come to you, I say, well, look, you got a lifetime job. You know what I'm saying? I need you to, you know, I'll put like this. Remember people that say they do voodoo and they do card reading and all that, and some of the people be accurate and be telling the truth. They see they're using they gift for the funds and not for the help the people.
Yeah, those are just those fake people though.
Not
Like,
not all. Listen, sir, I'm telling you, not all, listen, not all of them, because I done met people who's like them that I never met them a day in my life, and they knew stuff that nobody only me and the man of above knew, and they were speaking on. So I can't say they fake.
and they charged you?
No, they didn't charge me.
Oh, okay. See, that's different. Like, if they don't charge you, then they probably are legit because you can't use your thing for materialistic gain because then that whatever gift that you have could be taken from you. So if they did do it for free because it was meant for them to do it, it was pretty much like destined for them to see you and tell you what they needed to tell you because it was important and it was a message.
Yeah, but you got people that had that same guilt, sir. They use theirs for the gain of benefit.
Yeah, that's
You
what I'm
got people that
saying. The people that use it to gain benefit, they lost their ability a long time ago and they just playing like they still got it.
so hold on. If I serve the other side, I can still have my guilt because I'm helping the other side. You get where I'm coming from now?
Well, yeah, if you was on the other side though, say like if you was on the other side and I came into your presence, you would literally give off that energy or give off that sensation that would cause my body to automatically go ahead and exit to the left because it ain't something right with you. And like I mean, like your body will tell you when danger is nearby. So if you are something of that nature on the negative side, your body gonna let you know because your spirit gonna let you know.
Okay, but you gotta think about the people who ain't that in the process of being like the people that's in the process of going to the positive sometimes don't even get to the positive because the negative catch them before the positive. So I heard many people that question the Bible, everything because they lost their mama, they lost their house, you know what I'm saying? They lost a kid, they lost their job. So they in between, like you know what I'm saying, they in between. And it's a lot of people that's in between that that don't like you got people that don't believe in a heaven or hell, don't believe in nothing but the universe. Like, oh, the universe is the reason my life doing good. The universe is the reason why I got a job. You know, so it's then you got people that believe in Buddha, but at the end of the day, is is that was the goal when Lucifer got put out of heaven to do what is going on now. That was his whole goal to try to fool people and get them to not because he at this day is mad because he got put out of heaven because heaven had to be awesome for you to be that mad to want to be so evil.
I mean, well, when it comes to something like that, I mean, as far as like, Buddha and everything else, but that just go back to what I was saying earlier. Like the teachings of Buddha ain't nothing but the same teachings that, the sun came along and was teaching. Only thing that, people was doing wrong is that they started worshiping Buddha and not, looking into the teachings and where he got it from. That's why I said that, like, yeah, that's why I said that you shouldn't really just take everything, as face value. Like, yeah, like pray to this statue right here and everything else. Like, you gotta look above and beyond of what that thing was teaching and everything else, and go to the source. So whatever you're doing, you can do it correctly.
So
Because
look, so
realistically, you could be, if I was praying to a statue and someone told me, yeah, this Jesus or this God and stuff
no,
like that,
the
whole time,
the same person that made the picture of Jesus is the same person that made the picture of Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is not a woman, that's a man. That was his
yeah,
that person lover.
yeah, I know,
Okay, okay. Because that same person did Mona Lisa did Jesus picture.
yeah. Because the dude that they claim that is Jesus that they painted is King James' cousin, who was also his lover,
Yeah,
and
because
that's
people think that picture of Mona Lisa is a woman. That's a whole man too.
yeah, that's a whole man. That's why I say like that's why people need to really like kind of like don't take everybody word for something. You need to like look into something because if you over here, praising a picture of a man who was somebody lover and they telling you it's Jesus, then you basically praying to the wrong thing because you really praying to that man right there who was somebody lover. That's why that just go back to what I had said earlier. Like we've been our whole lives we've been going by what somebody told us and never questioning it. And they told us if we question it, you was wrong or you didn't believe in the Lord above and stuff like that. But but then you have stuff like this that'll pop up and be like, well, wait, hold on. If that was that man lover, why is he painted as my Messiah? You know what I'm saying? So, it just go back to what I said earlier.
So
Like,
so if you think about it, at the end of the day, when we was talking earlier about the one set of people, they you gotta remember they kissed the picture of Jesus. You know, they kissed it and they bow down to it. And then them same people who supposed to be whole higher and you up to date, you heard that this person was transferred to this location because he was accused on this location, and they never turned them in. They just transferred them to place to place to place until either they die or something. They go to jail. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
nah, you gonna have to, what do you mean? Explain.
So they be saying that the cat word is a lot of them be messing with the young men.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
But you gotta remember they kissed the picture of Jesus and they you gotta remember they kissed the picture of Jesus and they walk they got that big old cross and they drag it across the ground and walk with it and all that and it's
Yeah, that's what
like
I'm saying. Like some like they tell you that, oh, this is for God, and the most, and stuff like that. But it's like I don't. It's like you start to question things. Like, nah, I don't think you know the person that created all this that wouldn't appreciate y'all doing this and stuff like that. It just put up red flags for me and stuff like that.
you know
And
what it did.
then,
Remember earlier I had said that because remember say that they remember they was trying to change. Remember we were stuff was took it out they changed. But remember they said he had skin or what and hair or what
he had skin of what was it?
brass.
Brass, and he had hair of like wool or something like that.
Okay,
Skin of brass, star stone, and jasper, hair of wool.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so what the reason me saying it is they did change. They couldn't change. So listen, they couldn't change so much because they were trying what they were trying to change and take out. They couldn't. It was so much. You got to think about it. That book could have been bigger than what it is. They probably took out a whole bunch of them, but they got tired of taking out because they said we gotta leave some here because it ain't gonna be no book for us to try to destroy them with. So they took out this part and said, okay, this part added into this part. You gotta think about it. At the end of the day, the whole situation is that evil is evil, good is good. At the end of the day, certain things people do, that's evil. Like put like this, hating a group of black people that you never know, that's evil. That's evil because you're judging a person off the color of their skin and not the person they is.
Mm-hmm.
You got another thing is your whole life. Look, you say you 33, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your whole life you've been told when you was growing up that you got to fear the Caucasian man, right?
No.
No, I'm just saying, certain like you grew. Listen, so you was told in your household you can go out and just punch a white man in the face with no consequence.
Nah. Like, as I was growing up, I didn't really have a whole lot of like parental. I guess you could say. I ain't gonna say guidance, but I'm gonna say like parental caring, basically. Whatever happened happened to me, and that was it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that
So
you did that, but
I mean,
but I'm
nah, it's
saying
all right. It's a learning experience, so.
so hold on, so we gonna listen now. We gonna take it out. We gonna have a real conversation right now. All right, right.
Uh
Do you think what you went through? Do you think that's a trial of tribulations?
huh. Yeah, it happened for a reason. Yeah.
So remember earlier I said I believe the trials and the tribulation because that's what makes sense to me. Don't that make sense to you in the Bible?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that that the trials and tribulation thing isn't real or nothing like that, because everyone has to physically go through them. But I was speaking more of the fact that some things should be questioned because it's other things that prove it wrong.
So I understand where you come from. That's why the part of it is like what I was saying earlier. I don't want to take out all my time and try to study something that and try to figure it out because at the day you could try to figure out 1,000 times. It's no way you're gonna get it. It's never gonna add up to the 100%. You know why? Because you don't have the
Why?
100%. Because you don't have the 100%. We agreed that stuff was taken out of it. So how can you get an understanding when you don't even have the hope? That's just like this. If you read a book, if it is from page 1 to 100. If
Hmm.
42 pages missing, you don't you missing the 42 parts of knowledge. So if you cut that out and you try to put it to natural life, because in the Bible it's supposed to be to help us and lead us down the right way. I learned in the Bible that we supposed to love each other, we don't supposed to kill each other, we don't supposed to hate in our heart. We supposed to try to build each other up. In growing up, we want to lead the right way because we had learned anger from the people who came and kidnapped us, and we how they did it to start the hate back then was they would have the house people and they had a field people, and
Yeah,
then
you
when they
correct. You correct on that. Yeah.
and then another thing is they would like you be married and you got your family, they send you to a whole nother camp because they want to tell you they got like if you don't work, people think it was just beating. They would split families up and tell them if you don't do this work, I'm gonna go over to the other field and take your family out. That's why
Hmm.
a lot of people, if you when you read about when you heard the story about Kenta Kute, his family was a whole different place than he was. Right, they split them up right around
Yeah, they split him up.
because they that's how they was controlling. See, at the end of the day, I feel like I feel like in that process, that's probably when the Bible got a little bit shook and shaked up. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have listen, we was the chosen ones, but we didn't have the ability to touch the book.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, but then that just goes back to
One
what I
hold on,
was
can
saying.
I say something though? We
Yeah, I'm
already
sorry.
had
Go
our
ahead.
own beliefs. You gotta remember they took our original beliefs away from us and forced the Bible upon us. We already had beliefs. We already had what we prayed to. We already had that
Yeah,
in the beginning.
I
yeah,
agree.
that's
I agree with you, and the part of it is, and if you know what, Sheep, I'm so happy you said that. You hear me? Because guess what, the kill part about it is the beliefs they had and what they believed. It was what the same thing that they believed was the same thing. See, the killer part about it was their trials and tribulations. They got beat, but they still sung music to free their energy. That's how they under railroads and how they was escaping. They was all that. They was using the music, the spiritual music. It is built in you. I understand what you're saying. The Bible will have you looking at the world and people way different because at the day you can read one part of the Bible and it say one thing, and then you go back in the other part of the Bible, it say something different. You like, hold on, I just read this and it said this because it's the whole part of the Bible to me is to confuse you, to lead you to have thoughts of is it a God and if what color is God and how tall is God and what you know what I'm saying? It's all questions about something that's supposed to be inside of you, not in your brain. That's what see people like they put in the Bible. It was Eve bit the apple, and they got to see each other naked. That wasn't what it was. They bit the apple, and then they got to see the evil that was coming along. He told them not to bite the apple because he knew that once they bit the apple, that's why women bit the apple. If you ever read the Bible say, and I do believe it, women only bleed to and cramp and hurt is because Eve opened up the doors of this. Yeah, we supposed to reproduce, but at the end of the day, we supposed to, at the end of the day, we was supposed to understand how to maintain and live before that. They speeded the time up. They supposed to go there, plant the plants. Don't eat off the plants. Let it get a fruitful and get a lot. They uh, the listen. The evil spirit told Eve, "Girl, go ahead and bite that apple. Ain't nothing gonna happen." And she believed it, and something happened.
yeah. But then you also got to remember though They never said, it was Satan that came to Eve. It just said Eve was persuaded by a serpent's tongue. And in the original text, they do say that when God made the Garden of Eden, and he had it split up into four different parts, which is considered the four different seas of the world, that there were four kingdoms, meaning that there were four separate entities that were there. It was man and three other things. So realistically, one of those other people of that same kingdom probably had persuaded Eve to bite the apple, which was probably the translation of him
Okay,
having
okay.
sex with her. So
So it said that, listen, in the Bible, and they haven't changed it, they say that Eve was from Adam real.
yeah,
Wasn't nobody but Eve and Adam.
yeah, but that's not true though, because in the original text, it was four kingdoms in Eden. It was the kingdom for Adam and Eve, and it was three separate kingdoms for the three other entities or people that God had also made. But they don't tell you that because they took that out of the Bible.
So this is my point. So if it was three more, right?
Hmm.
What happened? What happened? So what did why not in the Bible of him taking their rib and putting it and making them a woman?
I mean, well, technically, they had those other four, well, the other three, they already had their previous mates and everything. So they had their king, it was their king and it was the queen. And each one of them had one. Because originally, it was Lilith that was Adam's first wife. So he had her. But she had got introduced to Satan. And because of that, Satan fell in love with her, and in that process, God erased her and got rid of her. And because of that, that's why Lucifer rebelled and took one third of the God's kingdom to fight against God, and
Okay,
he
okay,
lost.
okay.
And
So
that's
so
where it comes from, where they ended up giving Adam a second wife, which was Eve, which was made from his rib.
hey, listen, I'm gonna give you something that an old head gave me one day, and it makes sense. Stop for a minute and listen. You just approved what you went and proved me right. And you want me to tell you how you proved me right?
What's that?
Because you said Adam had a wife before, right?
Yeah, he had Lilith.
She she listen, she fell in love with Satan, right?
Satan fell in love with her
Okay, well, if Satan, she had to fall back in love with Satan because why would he take her if she's not even going towards his way? Why would he take her away? What was the point of taking her away?
because he fell in love with her.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna give you something. You gotta listen. If you respond, you're gonna kill the message. Now you said that he had a wife before, right?
Hmm.
And and Lucifer fall in love with her, right?
Hmm.
Then he turned around and created Eve for Adam, right?
Yeah,
So why would you not think he's the one who said you took my love? I'm gonna destroy your land by telling her to bite where you told her don't bite.
because by
No, no,
then
no.
God had.
You stop. Listen, sir. You're 33 years old. I'm listening. I be around nothing but people older than both of us. I'm trying to tell you, you gotta listen. Sometimes everything. Listen, everything
I
doesn't
thought you
always
was done
mean.
talking. My
You,
bad. But okay.
you listen. No, I don't be mean, be rude, but listen. Everything you saying, you asking questions, and I'm giving you the answers, and you're justifying the answers by making an excuse for
Well,
something that
Gerald, you
doesn't.
can't ask my man a question and not let him answer the question. That's rude as fuck. I'm just saying.
No, well, I ain't trying to be. No, no, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude. What I'm
You
saying
asked
to
him a
him is,
question and he gave you a chance to talk, and now he's trying to give you a
all right,
rebuttal.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, but as I was saying, that couldn't have happened because once he got rid of Lilith, that's when Satan rebelled against God, and that's when God had banished him to the abyss. And then after that, that's where he ended up taking Adam's rib and making him a new wife because Lilith was hurt at the fact that Lucifer got banished. So he got rid of her too. So it couldn't have been Lucifer to come persuade Eve to bite the apple because it never said that. Because it would have said Lucifer persuaded Eve. It literally said Eve was persuaded by a serpent's tongue. That's it. It never said who it was or if it was a serpent. She just said she got persuaded by a serpent's tongue, which could have been any of the other three people that had a kingdom in Eden.
And basically what I've said is, you put Lucifer in this situation, and what I'm saying is, you that it could have, like, you're saying, well, no, it could have been someone for the thing. What point did you get that they told you where the person came from? You
What do
assuming,
you?
and go ahead, sorry, I don't mean to cut you
I was about to say, what do you mean?
off. I was finished break that. So you said, okay, they didn't say it was Satan, but they said, so if 2 plus 2 is 4, right? If you realize that he was already trying to start confusion with Adam,
Who?
and you say that he took the first lady, so he took his love that he loved. So what would you think if he was trying to run heaven and he was trying to take over? Why would you think that he would try to throw a rock in the next moment? That's how Eve bit. That's why they not telling you. But if common sense will tell you, okay, let's think about it. Who you said, like, these other people came all the way over there and they got their own fruit, they got their own land. They gonna come in there and say, "Hey, bite this apple." When they could have stole the apple, ate it, bit the apple. Well, it wasn't gonna benefit their land. It was only for the land that Eve was in. It wasn't for the land, the other three lands or the other two lands. It was for the land she was in. She bit the apple in the land she was in. So why would they come over there and tell her to buy the apple in her own land when they got their own land? What would they benefit?
Well, technically, the apple is a representation of sex. So whoever persuaded Eve with a serpent's tongue had sex with Eve, and after that, Eve persuaded Adam to bite the fruit too, which would mean Adam had sex with whoever Eve had sex with, and that's why God kicked them out of the kingdom.
Okay, so you said earlier, you said that 13, I mean, you said 30% tried to came down and start having the same thing with people, right?
No, it was just the Watchers. The Watchers. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and lay the whole foundation for you, so you know you don't get confused. When God made Eden, it was split into four, right? So it's the kingdom of man, and then there's three other kingdoms. God literally made Adam and he made Lilith as equals and everything else.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Lucifer,
That's not what that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you were saying
but I'm
that
trying to
Adam.
lay down, I'm laying the foundation
Okay.
for you so you don't get lost. Lucifer fell in love with Lilith. Lilith also fell in love with Lucifer, and God seen this, and God banished. No, he literally erased Lilith from existence, and as a
Can I
retaliatory
cut in?
thing,
Can I cut in for a minute? So I just got one question. I said that you said no.
bro. I mean, you not really listening to me. So I mean, I'm
No,
just
no, no.
trying
When
to
I
fit
said
the
that she
whole.
fall in love, when I said she fall in love with him, you said no, he fall in love with her.
I mean,
Now you say
technically,
she did.
technically, she really couldn't have fell in love with him to the point to where she would be able to do anything because she got erased. God wiped her from existence. And as a retaliatory thing to do, that's when Satan literally persuaded one, like 2/3 or a third of heaven to go against God. And they lost. And God banished them into the abyss. And as a result, after that, that's when God took a rib from Adam and made Eve. He made Eve. One of the other people from the kingdom came to Eve and persuaded her with a serpent's tongue to have sex with him. And Eve did it. And in that process, she persuaded Adam to also come and have sex too. Once this was seen by God, God banished them from the kingdom. Then, once they left the kingdom and they basically populated the earth, that's when watchers came down, which were also considered angels, and started mating with women. When they started mating with women, God seen this, and seen the giants or Nephilim that came from them, and he drowned the world. After he drowned the world, he thought he got rid of all of them. But some of them survived and they started repopulating with people. So he seen that and he hit it with fire.
So my understanding, and let me talk for a minute, and I just want to understand is why do you not think it was Lucifer that she had sex with? If Lucifer was trying to sleep with the last one, why would you not think?
Because because
Because the Bible
Lucifer
don't.
was already banished to the abyss.
So how did you say it down the line? Like, so let me say it so you can copy what I'm saying. I'm going off for everything you sir say. So just let me
Uh-huh.
talk because every time I say something, I mean you kind of interrupt me and you say this and this. I have to
I
stop and I
mean,
don't know.
because you take a pause with everything that you're saying, and I'm thinking that you're expecting a response. So that's what I do.
So you cut me
So,
off right now. So I didn't even get to this conversation. I'll tell you that. So I take a pause because I want to make sure I say it correctly. So I'm making sure I don't
oh,
say nothing wrong.
I didn't
So
know that.
my thing is, you said my understanding you come from. You say it was three. It was three different kingdoms, and some servant came in. Well, no, no. Uh, first Adam had one. She that Satan falling in love with her, or she fall in love with Satan. Let me finish because I know you about to cut me off. I know you about that. So Satan fall in love with her. Got the creator took her away, turned around, and you said that either the angels came down, started breathing with the people, and he wiped
No,
them
you
out.
skipping over bro. It sounds like to me that you're not really listening to anything that I'm
Yes, sir.
saying
I'm just
because
listen. I'm just
you're
listen.
just skipping over a lot of things and you just
I'm not
making up
listening.
things
You
as you
listen. I'm
go.
not trying. Listen, sir. I'm trying not trying to make it long. I'm trying to get to a point that I just want to say something.
Okay.
Everything you said was Lucifer. It was trying to destroy earth and heaven. And you don't think that he had some? They say that Eve is the reason why it was sin. The reason why he supposed to gave his son for sin, right?
No, what are you talking about? That's why I gave this the
Mario, do you know what I'm talking about? Because I mean, I want you to participate too, because I don't really hear you talk. Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm up here.
No, my thing is like, so sorry. Let me say something. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm saying though, like Lucifer whole like every story he's telling is Lucifer was trying to destroy heaven and earth. For him to say that Lucifer stopped trying to do that, and to the day Lucifer still doing it. So how like yes, he was banished. He was banished to um you say the pits, well you would say the pits, but then the day he still got to the day people doing the same kind of work he did. So my thing is, I would believe that they didn't put Lucifer in it and that's probably the part they took out of all of the Bibles, all of the Bibles, not just one Bible, because they only gave you partially of they listen. It should be more to added into the Bible to tell you what was it, because creature, if creature could talk to us and do that, it would have been creature. So it wasn't creature.
Well, I mean, you
It
got to
wasn't creature.
understand they specifically said the tongue of a serpent, and in the Bible it has Lucifer name specifically. So if they meant to say Lucifer, they would have said Lucifer, but they said the tongue of a serpent.
So what you think it was a snake?
It was a serpent,
Mm, yeah, it had someone that had a serpent's tongue.
tongue of a
Do,
serpent.
do,
Yeah,
do you know
So
the do you know the definition if you look up a snake?
I mean, a snake and a serpent might be two different things. Because originally, from what is understood, the serpent that persuaded Eve got its arms and legs taken away. So, I mean, if you really want to keep it all the way 100, I mean, it sounds like Eve got persuaded by a damn lizard man, for real, for real, if you
Yeah.
really want to keep it 100.
So my thing is we have an understanding now. We have an agreement. So my thing is if if he was trying to sleep with Adam's first wife, he might have listen. He might have took him back down to exactly what you said. My thing is my understanding of like sorry, like and Mario is if we thinking this man whole job since you know about him in the Bible was trying to destroy heaven and earth. He was doing it in the beginning. He did he it just all of a sudden he went how my thing is if he if he was sent there, how he still to this day doing the work he doing then.
because God
Um,
allows him to.
I
He
mean, yeah,
must
because
before he does anything, he must ask the permission of God.
yeah, because technically, the reason why he has so much power now, and I'm not gonna shit on nobody religion or anything else like that, but because of what the Romans were doing at that point in time, because they dabbled in the mystic art, they were able to pretty much speak to Lucifer and pretty much give him somewhat of a leeway of power over this domain. That's why when you see the cross and everything else. I mean, the cross ain't nothing but really it's nothing but the symbol of Satan, really, if you want to keep it all the way 100. But they'll sit here and portray like, oh, it's not, but it really is. And you see structures, worship, and everything else literally pointing into Lucifer's direction. Like I said earlier, the Statue of Liberty is literally a statue of Lucifer, just with a couple of modifications here and there.
No, all I'm saying, listen, all I'm saying is you could be right, I could be right, but I'm still gonna say I think that the servant was Lucifer because his goal was he took my boot off of the cause wool.
I mean, and
I mean, I could be wrong. Listen, I could be wrong, but listen, let's
yeah,
go out. Listen,
you could be right, you could be wrong, but
right? I'm not just saying that, but the kids, listen. Even though I could be wrong, just put that in. Listen, just think about that. You know what I'm saying? I know you know I'm wrong, but just look at it the way I'm looking at it and tell me how you think about that.
me looking at it, like I said, it literally sounds like that Eve had sex with a lizard man, for real, for real.
Hey,
Because
listen, his job, listen,
God said He stripped them of His arms and His legs and His beauty. So
right?
I
So listen, my
mean,
point of the situation, listen, he didn't see God didn't know that he was still gonna do what he was gonna do. He listen, he souped her up, and guess what? At the end of the day, he got what he wanted.
yeah, that's why I say, like realistically, I mean, You know, it couldn't have been Lucifer because he was already bound and sealed away. And, you know, if God made, you know, Eden and he had four separate people, you know, staying there and had their own little region of it, I mean, it had to be one of them. And it had to be somebody that looked like a lizard or a serpent one because he took their arms, legs, and, you know, their beauty away. So, I mean,
He could have listened. You listen. It could have been Lucifer. That's probably was his. Listen, you could be right about that. That he sent them down there, but that could have been his consequence before he stripped them all away. Was to you know what I'm saying? Okay, you can't do too much without no legs or arms. I'm gonna make you into a lizard or something like that. And even what Lucifer was, he said, I'm still gonna do my job. Listen, he probably listen. Lucifer could have came. He probably put Lucifer, made him Elizabeth in the forest one, and Lucifer took days and nights to get where he wanted to be at.
yeah, I don't know, because I feel like if God would have sealed you away into the abyss, I mean, you ain't getting out of there no time soon. So, you know, like that's why I say it couldn't have had been him. That's why I say it had to be a lizard person or something.
But
Because, you know,
you got to remember that in a time limit, that if you read the Bible, say that the world was created in 6 days. So let's let's think like it probably wasn't that it didn't take that long because their time limit was shorter than ours. Remember, the world was created. I mean, he put water, earth in 6 days and rest on the seventh day.
yeah, but then you also got people that'll sit here and tell you the seventh day is Sunday when it's really Saturday.
Really Saturday. It's really Saturday.
Yeah, it's really Saturday and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just like, even but when you factor in that and then you just look at other things, it's just like, well, hey, like, even though time might move a little different and everything else, I mean, if as soon as he would have tried to do something, he knock him down there, seal him away and everything else, I mean, to us that could have been seconds, but up there that could have been centuries or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why I say, like, realistically, if it couldn't have been him because he was already, bound, gagged, and, shoved in the back of the corner somewhere. And,
So okay, so I got a question for you. You when it came, okay, so he was already tucked off, right?
hmm
So when he took off 30% of heaven, was he already tucked off or he wasn't tucked off yet?
nah, he wasn't tucked off yet. After he took that 33% and he went over there, that's when and he got defeated. That's when the 33% and him got tucked off and kicked to the side or whatever. And then that's when, God, created Eve out of Adam's rib or whatever to replace Lilith. And then that's when one of the people that was also in the kingdom went over there and persuaded Eve to have sex with them. And Eve persuaded Adam to pretty much have sex with them too. So
So
then,
I mean, only part I get confused is what was the point? Like I'm just like I'm just trying to figure out what was they point of them coming over there? Like they had their own feud, they had their own thing. So why would they want to eat? Like what would they go out of it?
I mean, sex pretty much. I mean, it was a shared kingdom, but it was separated by like four streams of water that you could still see to this very day. But pretty much it was a shared area, but it was just, everybody had like a little separate thing or whatever and stuff like that. So I guess one of them just seen Eve and was like, damn, she kind of fine. I'm gonna go ahead over there and go get me some of that ass. And then what happened was he ended up fucking Eve. And then, Eve persuaded Adam, hey, come over here and let's go have this threesome real quick. Let's have sex with this serpent looking thing. And then they had sex with the serpent looking thing. And God seen it and was like, oh nah, hell nah, y'all weren't supposed to do that. And then that's when he stripped the beauty, the arms and the legs of the thing they had sex with and kicked them out of the kingdom.
Listen, I don't know. I'm just assuming that from my understanding of what you're saying is, I'm thinking that it could have been Lucifer, but it could have, it might not have been Lucifer, could have been a worker for Lucifer. But I believe Lucifer had something to do with it.
I mean, he probably did. He probably persuaded, the dude to be like, "Hey, man, go get you some cheeks or something like that." Because, what other reason would, the serpent-looking creature decide to be like, I'm gonna go over there and hump Eve or something like that. So, it could have
Not,
been
not,
him.
not, now you catching up what I was saying. That's what I was basically saying.
Oh,
That
okay,
you
all right.
know
Now I
what I'm
get
saying?
what you're
Like
saying.
I
Yeah,
was saying,
like
like you,
realistically, yeah, because he could have been like, "Well, shit, I ain't, hey man, there's some pussy over there. You can go get some. She'll let you fuck." He
yeah, yeah.
probably.
That was like, because I was the whole point of that's why I kept on saying, what will make them come? What will make them? I was trying to get you to say it earlier. What will make them come
Oh,
over there?
okay.
Like what?
Well, yeah,
That's like,
it could have been a possibility. Like, know what I mean, because why would you all of a sudden just feel like, hey, well, shit. Because if that was the case, he would have went after Lilith the first time and stuff like that. If you think about it, but yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. That it probably could have been that way, because him being whatever the thing was, having a serpent's tongue, being able to talk even to having sex is just like, well, hold on, well, how like how she fall for that? But she fell for it. So like shit, it
hey,
could have
hey,
been.
one thing they did say about that man, they said he was a cold mug, a cold mug. You hear me?
Yeah, because shit, because realistically, he got Adam and Eve, so it's
And then you
like
got to think about and then you got to think about you said he went up there after he got put out and turned 30% of it. That tell me that man. That's why I'm not giving him credit, not saying, but that man had a journey on because at the day, like I say, his plan was to destroy heaven and earth, and that's the
mm-hmm.
only way I can see Eve going to that predicament and disobeying God like the other people in heaven disobeyed him, and deal with the 30%. So I believe he had a lot to do with a lot, and I believe to this day he had a lot to do with the Bible report being taken out the Bible. Because if like us having this conversation, it opened up doors that never been opened before. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So we did open up doors that nobody ever opened up. You know what I'm saying? We listen, we were disagreeing, but at the end we agreeing on this. He had a
mm-hmm.
lot to do with what was going on. He was the
Yeah,
goal. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
We
Because realistically, I mean, at the end of the day, people might, they be like, yeah, Lucifer was evil and all this other type stuff. But when you really look at the story and you really look at it, I mean, Lucifer pretty much got mad because God took somebody away from him that he loved that wasn't meant for him. And as a
and I believe that's
retaliatory
how
state, you know,
and I believe that's where how Eve got put in the predicament. That remember I was saying earlier that he was heated about that. He like you took my boo. Oh, it's war now, and that's when he did what he might not have. You know what I'm saying? He might have suited up because he did. Listen, he had to take 30%. He had to have some kind of control over some mind.
yeah, because
Cause
I
I,
mean, realistically, I mean, because they say love was one of the first things that God made that was more powerful than him. So if love will make one of his first angels rebel against him, it's like, well, shit, I can't be too mad because I did make the concept of love and he fell in love with somebody he wasn't supposed to be with. So, so when he took Lilith away and everything else, Satan got mad and then he lost the fight.
hey,
But
listen. Let's go. We gonna make our own story to this here, and and I want you to add on to it, right? So we're gonna say that the angel that he was in love with was his angel in heaven. For him being disobedient, and God tried to give him to Adam, and you gonna cover him.
what you talking about? Lucifer being in love with Lilith.
Lila might have been his up in heaven, and for him disobeying God gave. You gotta remember, God gave his own, supposed to gave his only begotten son, so he probably did that to pay him back for what he tried to do to him, and that's why they was going back. It seemed like they was going war. They was in war with each other then
Yeah,
because he
you
could
might
have
as
did
well.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah, he
might as
could.
well say he went to war for Lilith because he took her away from him. But it's just That's why I say, well, shit. When you really think about it, it shit. He basically went to war because God took away love from him and everything else, and he didn't know how to handle it. And then,
Yeah, that's why. Listen, that's why. That, that's why evil is evil because he after that he went evil. His mind went evil. You took my love. He was in love with it, and I believe that God sent her to Adam just to do what he did, but he didn't know what his Lucifer outcome was until because Lucifer tried everything, had to breed, had them breeding with the humans and making these creatures, and what I'm saying, and the servant, and you know what I'm saying, he was heated, he just flipped out, and I believe that's why he did everything he did, like still doing what he doing. He's still mad to this day, like cause you took, like he probably took her and took her back up to heaven.
mm, I think I don't know about that one. 'Cause I think God, when He erased her, He literally wiped her from existence, her soul and everything.
Oh well, that would make you mad. That would make you mad too.
Yeah. So
That
he
would make
would.
you.
So the fact that he wouldn't be able to see her again, or even in heaven, it was like, oh man, now I got to go to war with him and stuff like that. So then
Hey,
he
so
went to war and lost.
since we going down the line, do you think that that's why he killed his son, had his son killed because of that?
Who that?
Lucifer, do you think Lucifer had something to do with you say ain't no Jesus, but you know what I'm saying, the son. Do you think that
I
he had the son?
mean, I kind of feel like I kind of see what you're saying, and I kind of feel like it kind of was because by that time people had already started making contact with Satan and everything else like that, and I do feel like that God did kind of like reincarnate Himself to make Jesus or whatever, so He could be flesh on earth to tell people, hey, don't do this, don't do that, and all this other type stuff. And,
Hmm.
as a retaliatory thing, since he was made flesh, he felt like, well, I can get rid of him right here, right now, since I already got these people worshiping me and already got my religion already right here. So let me go ahead and send, you know, these people to go ahead and take him out, not knowing that it wouldn't do anything, because the moment that it happened, God said, hey, I'm going to forgive everybody and everything else, or whatever the case may be is, and then
Yeah,
because that would be literally the ultimate sin to kill your creator.
Yeah.
So that's why
yeah,
he would, turn around and just, as they're doing it, to forgive everyone because they didn't know no better, because they ended up being persuaded and corrupted by, the Romans and stuff like that that were already in touch with Satan himself.
see how see how I opened up a door that probably would have never been open. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, see, I try to listen. Like you might have thought I want to listen. I listened to everything you said, but I was just trying to get to certain points to get you to understand that all this is Lucifer. Still listen to this day. He still right now he mad. You know that, right? Because you when you saying it, yeah, he didn't just he took her from heaven, put on earth, and then just raised her from being exist. You gonna come from
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, in his mind, he probably thought he was gonna send her down there to him. He said, "No, you know, I'm gonna do you worse than that. I'm gonna make sure that you never be able to talk to her, see her. I'm make sure she don't exist. That you can't talk to her in the other life, this life, that life. She never was. She's gone. She wait." And to him, he said, "I'm gonna take you down. Anything you create down. Anything that believe in you down. I don't. I want your existence not to exist. You gonna come from?"
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, and then that goes back to what I was trying to say earlier, because realistically, when he got reincarnated or whatever the case may be, is he was reincarnated into, you might as well say, black flesh. And as a result of that, the fact that Lucifer's presence is still here, he tries to corrupt and destroy, you know, the black flesh by any means necessary. Because if he, you know, the fact that we unite and everything else like that, you know, we find out who we are. That's why he sent colonizers to colonize, you know, come over here and capture the people and enslave the people that was already here and everything else like that. And as a result of that, that's why you had things going on like, you know, like you said, when they would take slaves that had families and put them in other camps and stuff like that. They ain't do nothing but turn around and restart that same process by bringing in welfare, all this other type stuff, taking the black man out of the home and stuff like that, because all of that is a constant, uh, uh, what is it, reprogramming to separate and destroy, you know, black people, realistically, because he know that we the chosen people. That's why you got poverty. That's why you have the ghettos. That's why you have people, you know, you know, kill black people on sight, you know, KKK and all the other type stuff. Because realistically, all of that is literally designed to keep the chosen people from being together and everything else. And he's using, you know, Caucasian people or, you know, or the church that, you know, he built in his religion to separate them and guide them away from the true beliefs.
Do you know that welfare and food stamp was not made for us? They were made for the lower poverty of Caucasian people.
Yeah, but originally, and this is, you know, well documented and everything else, all that stuff was designed to destroy the black home because of how powerful the black home was. But that just goes back to being the chosen people and how powerful we really were when we unite. That's when they started, you know, attacking black owned businesses, destroying things and everything else, and, you know, taking certain people and putting them in positions of, you know,
Hey,
talking points and stuff like that to, you know,
right,
misguide, you know, the people and everything else like that.
right. You're right. You're right. Now, you know what? Listen, now they've been doing abortion since since forever, right? You know why? Do you know why they stop abortion?
You said, do I know why they stopped it? Or
Yeah, why they said that people couldn't do it.
because all right, well, the reason why now, you know, this is just a little something that I know. I mean,
Hmm.
you know, I ain't gonna say it's for certain fact because, you know, I think I can get in trouble for it. But the reason why they stopped doing that is because they started outlawing certain research programs that required stem cells that came from children, well, from aborted fetuses and stuff like that. So
Nope.
once those programs got outlawed and no one could do them no more, that's when they said, "Well, look, you can't get no more abortions no more because, you know, we can't use the product that, you know, you produce for us."
Nope. That I'm gonna tell you too. So I did my research on that. So the reason that they did that, okay, so a black mother get pregnant 4 times, she have 4 kids. A Caucasian woman get pregnant, she has 1 child. Listen, their fear was that they're not gonna have they're not gonna have many people with us in a minute. We're gonna outrule them in people. So they didn't take abortion away because of what you saying. They took it away because Caucasian people was using. They would get pregnant and they would say, "Well, me and my husband, we good with just 1 child." So they would go pay for it, and that's why they banned it because it was only banned because they was not lit. When you look at a white family, they got a son and a daughter. Look at us, we got 2 daughters, 3 sons, 4 sons. You know what I'm saying? We have multiple kids. They was only having 1 or 2 kids. That's not enough people. If everyone had 1 or 2 kids and blacks have 5 to 6 kids, listen, we already outdoing them by 5 kids. We got 3 over there.
Oh, so basically abortion was made so white women would have more white children, so they basically wouldn't fade from existence.
Yeah, they know they cut it out. They cut it out. At first, abortion was to that they thought that because we were so poor that we was gonna go do it, but we didn't. The Caucasians took advantage of it, brother, and us taking advantage of it. You gonna come from
Ah,
now?
yeah,
Yeah, they thought okay, they poor, they're not gonna have their child, and poor people still had their child. And white people's like, well, I only want one, or I want two, and they're not using. They back then they didn't have condoms, wasn't no safe sex.
yeah, that's true.
You gotta remember when you think of when you go back in a time limit, these people only had their mother and father got pregnant more than one time. But you look
Hmm.
at they go back and they think it's one son. Everybody got like if you do a certain bloodline of white people do one son, one daughter, one son, one daughter. Um, then you do you start doing on the other side, the auntie, she got one child, and then the brother, he only the sister only got one, the brother only got one, then they kid don't have a kid, or the cousin have one, but they've been pregnant. They never went through the whole process of having a child. We we were just like, okay, we was always, we was raised that having an abortion is a sin to kill our fetus. They didn't. They believe the belief was supposed to us for the and we got that belief out the Bible. We didn't believe. We took that part. The other people, because they knew part was in there was changed, they started doing it how they wanted to do it, and it got out of control. That when they was doing they studied on African Americans having abortion, it was the lowest count of abortion, and Caucasian was the highest people of abortion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because guess what? They run the government, brother. If they still want to use seal cells, they gonna use them. You gotta remember
Hmm.
the pharmacy is the biggest drug place. They
Yeah, that
control they
is true.
they control everything. If they listen, they gonna do what they want to do. We ain't nothing. Only time they doing stuff is to benefit them. It's not to benefit everybody. So if they stop abortion, it wasn't for us. Because if we was paying for the mugs and they knew how to listen, you gotta remember, they own Walmart, they own Target. They up to that they found people who thought they was getting sales. It was the same price before Black Friday. Just like Black Friday was a day to get rid of the extra slaves.
Yeah, that's true too.
We out because it's 2 in the morning. Um, I don't know. We could probably go live again sometime this week though if you guys really want to finish, the conversation.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine with me.
that's fine. Me, I would listen. I started off with this guy. Like I don't know about the guy, but after a while, me waiting it out, and rather than you know, getting in my feelings, I just waited out because we getting into a deeper situation, and we understanding the Bible and people now. So yeah, I would like to finish this because it's more that we can talk about.
Okay, okay. I want to just say everybody on YouTube, I want y'all to be blessed. I want y'all to be prosperous. Want to thank Gerald for coming over and joining, into the live. I want to thank
Hmm.
Brody for coming in the live. Um, like I said, everybody, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Have a good night, fellas. We out this thing.
Yep. Until next time.